It's been a rough couple of days, man. It's been a rough couple of days, man. Like I don't know. I used to get a lot of good discussion whenever I have these lives, but people are just been coming up all angry, all upset, and I truly don't understand why. Now, of course, folks believe that I'm just rage baiting, but I'm actually not. If you want to know, I actually do believe in these topics. I actually do believe in what I'm saying up here. So it's not just rage bait. I'm not just talking just to talk. And I do this because I just like discussion. Let me make sure I have my link here. Cool. Make sure I post it everywhere. What's going on? What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Go ahead and like the live. Go ahead and share the live. If you disagree with something I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I will actually like to have a discussion. If you disagree with something on the board and you are over 18, go ahead and come on up and we can discuss this. All right, y'all, I'm live everywhere now. And I'm going to post my link everywhere. I'm about to post my link everywhere. Hey, I appreciate that follow. I do appreciate that follow. Link is posted everywhere. I do appreciate that follow. I do appreciate any likes. I do see y'all liking it up. And like I said, go ahead and click on that follow link. Join up. If you disagree with something I have on the board, don't worry, I do not bite. Also, I do not talk to comments. That's one thing I have to tell everybody. I do not talk to comments. So if you disagree with something, I will invite you up. If you say something that I think you're trying to either argue with me or anything like that, I will invite you up. I do not talk to comments, so I'm not gonna go back and forth with comments. What up, Issa? Y'all follow Issa, man. She's a person who always supports me. I appreciate Issa being here as always. All right, so I got the invite link pinned up in my YouTube and in my Twitch. I make sure I share it with the Facebook as well. So y'all go ahead and talk to me. Y'all see the topics of discussion. What up, Issa? Y'all see the topics of discussion. Being woke is good. I don't think if America was ever great. I believe African Americans deserve reparations. I don't think there's any good evidence for a God. Faith is unreliable for truth. Holy books are not evidence. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all go ahead and come on up. I hope this is not another slow night. Hey, funny kid, how's it going? Funny kid over on my YouTube. I see you there. How's it going? What's up? Like I said, y'all, the if y'all want to join from either platform that's not on TikTok, either YouTube or Twitch, I do have a pinned link in the comments. Y'all could go ahead and click on that and then come on up and we can have this discussion. If you are on TikTok, on the TikTok side, go ahead and click on that guest box. And like I've always said, I do not just chat to comment. So if you say something that's disagreeable, I will invite you up. And don't be afraid to come up. Don't be afraid to discuss. Do not be cowards. All right. This really is going to be a slow night, huh? Because by now I probably would have gotten a couple of a couple of requests. Cause boy, y'all hate me out there. They hate me out there for some reason. I would have got a couple of requests by now, cause so it's probably gonna be a slow night. Past couple of days been rough too, especially on over on the stock market side. I don't invest as much as I used to, but I still keep up with the market um every now and then, and it's been rough on that side. If you're a trader, let me know what the hell is going on out there because it seems like things been rough, a little rough for y'all. You notice that with other creators too, it's been a little slow. Yeah, I won't doubt it. Um, this happens over for like YouTube streams, not YouTube, TikTok streams every like I think every like 6 7 months. For some reason, the algorithm slows down. It slows down. You know what I mean? You get a whole bunch of people to join, like I just had here. I had a huge push. Everybody went ahead and joined. Decon Cam, I appreciate you. Whole bunch of people joined, but then all of a sudden, like it slows down. You know, I'm really not sure why that is. Really not sure why that is, but yeah, that happens a lot. For some reason, uh, that happens with YouTube, like not YouTube. I'm saying I keep saying YouTube. That was with TikTok a lot. It just slows down for some reason. All right, we got our first guest. Gabe follows the way. How's it going? I'm all right. Give me 1 second. All right. Mic check. Mic check. Yeah. Give me 1 second, Gabe. All right, Gabe, you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Give me 1 sec. All right, that should work better. All right, Gabe, how's it going?
Good, man. Good.
All right.
Um,
Are you over 18 and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
I am over 18. Yes, and I do disagree with there is no good evidence for a God.
Cool. Let's go ahead and put 15 minutes on the clock. What you got?
Um, so there is a lot of good evidence for God, but there isn't a lot of good evidence for there not being a God, I feel like.
What evidence is there for a God? Actually, let's clarify one thing. Do you believe any particular type of God?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay, cool. What evidence is there that the Christian God is real?
Um, well, the Bible says that God made the heavens and the earth, and we have the heavens and the earth. Um,
So what?
yeah. Huh?
So what?
There's the Bible says that the heavens uh shout his handiwork. So like all the things that we see in life, it just creates it just points to a creator. Like when they say, like you see a painting, there's a painter or whatever. I just feel like if you see all the complex things that go on in this world, and how they all come together perfectly, and how we got here so perfectly, and us humans were like the only special ones sorted out with this consciousness soul thing that we all agree on, and these emotions that we feel and the love that we can express towards one another. I just feel like that's a good argument for there being a creator for making these things, because
Okay, it's not. The because the thing I would say, well, you read it here on the board. Holy books are not evidence for anything. They're just claims. So the Bible saying something doesn't necessarily make it true. Like for example, in Haitian voodoo, like the religion that my grandmother followed, it says that Olodumare created the heavens and sent out his spirits and deify certain people in order to become spirits. Just because it says that, do you believe it?
no, but there's good evidence for there being a God though.
All
Like
right,
there
right,
is
but
no good evidence for there not being a God.
well, you can't prove a negative, but the thing is, what I'm saying is that if the claim is that a God exists, you have to actually, the onus is on you to actually prove it, and simply saying this book says so was not good enough.
No, your thing says there is no good evidence for a God. I
There
would
isn't
say
any.
there is good evidence. Like we got some evidence. I mean,
No, we have none. Like, for
you
example, you said that
you think
humans
all
are. You brought up something about humans being special when it comes to like our feelings and emotions, but that's not special. Every social species um, displays some form of empathy. It might not be as complex as ours because our brain is a little bit more complex. But like every social species displays a form of empathy, from dolphins to elephants to even mice.
Are they conscious though?
What does that mean?
Consciousness?
What do you mean by consciousness? What do you mean
Do
by
you
that?
think like they can question their existence and things like that? Like they can be awake to the things around them and not just act off not evolution because I don't, but like
Instinct?
instinct. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they have consciousness. Even cats have self awareness.
How do you know that?
The mirror test.
The mirror test? What's the mirror test?
The mirror test is when you put up a mirror. This is how you check childhood development. As a matter of fact, put up a
Mm-hmm.
mirror to a 2 year old,
Mm-hmm.
and they have them look in and play in the mirror, right? Then turn
Mm-hmm.
them around and then put a dot on their head. Have them turn around again, and look at the mirror. They will check the dot on their head, meaning that they recognize themselves in the mirror. That's self awareness. If you do that to elephants, you do that to all the great apes, you do that to dolphins, even do it to stingrays, even cats. They will all do the same thing, meaning they have a sense of awareness. If you have a sense of awareness, self awareness, that means that you have a sense of other people, which is a sense of mind.
I would argue that just because they saw something that they didn't see previously, like just because your eyes, your optical eyes saw something else, how does that make you conscious?
It makes you conscious because that's how we measure conscious. That's literally how we measure consciousness. If a person does not, has been shown multiple times. If a creature or organism does not recognize itself in the mirror, it likely does not have a higher level of conscious.
Mm, I mean, they could just not react. Also, yeah, like they could just look at themselves and not react, and then we're gonna say, oh, they don't know that they're there, and but they just reality they didn't react because
Let me
it
ask you a
doesn't
question.
pertain to
Let's
food or sex for them.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say
Yeah.
you go on a bender, right? And then your friends, while you're asleep, they draw a huge dong on your head. When you wake up the next day, not realizing there's a dog on your head, and you look in the mirror, are you not going to react to that?
I am, yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Any normal person would. And if you don't react to that, there might be something that's not there, right? Especially if you don't talk or you just move off of instinct. Like you don't recognize yourself in the mirror. Like you don't recognize something is wrong. This is how we know what consciousness is, or that's one of the reasons we know what consciousness is, because every creature that has that will recognize themselves in the mirror. Bees don't recognize that, like because they don't have a sense of individuality. They live in a hive mind. So insects don't do that, but all other social creatures they do that.
I don't think there's evidence to show that animals have conscious. There's barely even evidence to show where our consciousness comes from. Like we don't even know where our consciousness comes from. There's science that says the brainstem. There's science that says the pathways throughout the entire brain. There was an article of a lady who had like 80% of her brain gone. I don't know if it was a lady or a man, but she had like 80% of her brain gone, and she was still like living a normal life. So we don't really know where this source of individuality and awakeness comes from.
It's
Would
probably
you
an
agree on that?
it's probably an emergent property.
It's part of an emerging property?
It's probably an emergent property. It's
An
emergent.
emergent?
It's
What is
probably
that?
emergent. Emergent is like, for example, like it's a bunch of things that come together in order to form a new thing, like water, like fire, like lightning. These are all things that are just emergent. For
Oh, they're
example,
just.
like you can't grab fire, right? You can't. Well, if you try to grab, it, you're gonna burn yourself. But I'm talking about like for like you see how this microphone you can just grab it and we know that it's a whole bunch of new things that came together to form this thing. That's emergence basically.
And you're saying that the consciousness is probably emergent?
Consciousness is probably emergent, yeah, just like fire is. Fire is just like you can't really explain what fire is. You can just say like these are the things that come up and make fire, but you can't really say what fire is.
We can't say what fire is, bro?
We can't really say what it is. Like what exactly is it? What exactly is fire?
I don't know, but there has to be some sort of scientific explanation for fire, though.
There is a scientific explanation for fire, and the scientific explanation is that it's emergent. It's a bunch of different things that come together. It's not
Right,
a
but we
it's
can.
not a specific thing on itself.
Yeah, but we can repeat that fire emerging qualities and make the fire multiple times. We
Right,
can't
right.
even figure out how we're conscious.
Yeah, no, we haven't figured out all the way while we're conscious, but it's likely from emergence because consciousness, as far as we've seen, has to do with neurons and chemicals. And once
So
those
as
neurons and chemicals are gone, the consciousness is gone too.
so as likely as it is that it's like you said, we're not there yet to fully understand it. Your explanation would be just as good as mine as to why there's
It's
consciousness.
really not because my side has evidence. You're just saying, oh, that must be
You
God because
there
reasons.
there is no evidence. There
Mine
is no scientific evidence that proves solid what consciousness is. There is none.
No, there actually is. Like I said, like the chemicals and neurons and neurochemicals, et cetera, et cetera. All like you have to talk to a neuroscientist to understand it completely. But yeah, that's the evidence of what consciousness is, and we've never seen or never detected consciousness without your brain being there. Once your brain is dead, consciousness is gone.
That's what I was saying. I don't know if you saw this article, but there was a lady or a man where they did a brain scan and like 80% of it was gone. It was hollow in there, but she was still living a normal life. And this kind of like threw everybody for like a rave about the consciousness argument that you're trying to talk about right now.
You're talking about 80% of her physical brain did not
Yeah,
exist
dude.
anymore, and she was living a normal life.
Yes, bro. It was crazy. See if you
I'm
can
going to
find it.
look this up, and I'm going to bet you I'm going to bet you $1 that is more complicated than what you're saying.
Probably, but what I'm saying is that it's still obscure. Like we both can't prove the other one wrong. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we can.
How can you prove that God is not the one that makes the consciousness, or provides that soul like experience?
Oh, okay. Like that claim is unfalsifiable, right? That claim is unfalsifiable. I can't disprove that claim. But since you're claiming that there is a God that it does exist, you actually have to show proof of that claim.
My claim is that there's good evidence, like the
What is
fine
it?
tuning argument, the way that if the Earth was one spot away from, I don't know, like one spot farther from the sun, then we would freeze, and if it was a little bit closer, then we would burn up. Like all these things that just come to get like life. We don't know the origin of life. There is no science has yet to replicate in inorganic matter to organic matter. Like science has yet to find out how living creatures came about. There is no
Give me a second.
solid.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, Kay, I do see you in the comments. Give me a few minutes. I'm just going one on one for the moment, and I do see the other guest in the box. Tommy Horse, give me a few minutes. All right, I go one by one. Just give me a few minutes, Tommy Horse. All right. So when it comes to the fine tuning argument, the fine tuning argument simply says, or the fine tuning of the universe simply says that like these are just physical constants that are constant for our universe. That doesn't mean that if the constants change, there would be no more universe or life won't exist. It just won't be something that we understand. That's number one. But the number two thing is that there is origin of life research that has a lot of experiments behind it, and the best one being the most famous one actually being the Miller-Urey experiment, where organic matter actually came from inorganic material.
What was the middle? Because I've heard this experiment before, but every time I look it up, it says the same thing. There is no uh like they got close, but it's not like it didn't replicate perfectly like with the proteins and all that stuff in order to create life as we know it.
But it did create organic matter. What are we made of?
Uh, Huh?
It did create organic matter, and what are
How
we
did
made
it
of?
create? How did it create organic matter?
Because organic matter are the chemicals are of a certain like chemical reaction of a certain shape. And when it did the Miller-Urey experiment, we saw that inorganic matter formed into those organic shapes. It did create organic matter, and like organic matter becoming what we know of as life, it does probably take millions, probably billions of years. But the point of the matter is that inorganic material can create organic matter, emergence, like I said before.
No, they
Yes.
definitely did not create organic matter.
Yes, it did. If you looked up the
And
military,
if they
that
did,
means that
and if
means
they
that means you
did,
didn't look it up, bro. If you're gonna
yeah,
claim that, that means you didn't look it up.
yeah. But here's the thing: if they did, it didn't sustain itself the way the life today as we know it did. So that's not the same life that
Well, we don't have
I'm talking
billions of
about.
years of time to actually see it, but the point of the experiment showed that inorganic material does create organic matter under certain conditions.
Yeah, but it couldn't replicate the life as we know it.
Because the
It
life as
couldn't
we know it
solve
took billions of years.
billions. Do you think we've been here for billions of years?
That's what the geological record says. Do you have something that doesn't say that?
Yeah, I can't pull it up right now for some reason. TikTok when I get out of it, like,
Yeah, it's not gonna
I,
let you do it. But like
yeah,
there is
but
no Like
But
it,
I'm gonna.
there is no like geologist worth their master's degree that's gonna tell you that this Earth is not billions of years old. Like none will tell you that.
I saw like a whole video convention thing about like the young Earth people, and there's a lot of
Young
like
Earth is bullshit.
geological.
Young Earth is
There's a
bullshit.
lot of geological evidence
Young Earth is bullshit.
like there is no
Bro, hold on. Listen, young Earth is bullshit. How do you explain starlight?
starlight.
Yes, because we know that light takes time to get to us, right?
Okay.
And when we measure how long that lights take to get to us, it takes millions and millions and millions of years. So how can the Earth be only thousands of years old, but the light that got to us is millions of years across? That wouldn't be that would be completely stupid.
Okay. My one last thing that I want to ask you. So like, what like are you just an atheist,
I'm an atheist, yes, agnostic
uh,
atheist.
agnostic atheist? So you believe that there's something.
No, agnostic means I don't know whether there's a God or not, but I don't believe it.
Oh, you don't know. So you're giving room for there to actually be one.
And yeah, when evidence provides itself, but none has.
Okay, gotcha. So you do think we have meaning, and we're not just combustion of particles and matter, and we're just living this meat body experience? Like, you think it's more than that, or no?
We have no objective meaning. The meaning that we have is the one that we make. The universe doesn't
How
care
do,
about us
how do you make your own meaning?
by deciding what your meaning is.
But what gives it that meaning?
You do,
But how can you give yourself meaning if you're just a sack of meat?
because you can. That's your freedom. There does not have to be someone else that gives you meaning. Why should there be?
Because if you look at us, we're just a bunch of meat things that die, and we're so weak, and um, we can't really sustain ourselves. Like, we're so dependent, like food and sleep and things like that. So it's kind of like
Yeah, we are.
um,
That
we're
would
very
still
limited.
that would still be the case even if there was some God that gave us meaning. That would still be the case. So what?
Right? But that God would provide the reason for our being.
Why does that God decide the reason for our being and not myself?
Well, because you can't, you didn't make yourself. You
So
didn't think. So how you don't have the um I don't want to say right, but it's kind of like your argument for you even being who you are. It was nothing from you. You know what I mean?
why
Like,
not?
because you didn't create. You had nothing to do with your conception, or your being, or your
So what?
upbringing, or your consciousness. Like, you took no part in that.
So what?
So you're just what you're calling meaning is just a
Well, actually,
reaction
that would actually be ridiculous because even if the God, even this God that you're claiming created us, you're saying that me growing up and learning the things that I learned and finding my own values, I didn't do those things. It was this God, it was that God that decided for me.
Yeah, because you had no
Oh, so
you
we don't have
had
free will then?
no, but you had no how can I say this? You had no input into all those other things. You just reacted to what it was.
Oh, so I have no free will then?
No, you have free will. You
Okay,
can
so if I
decide.
have free will, then
Hmm.
I can make my own meaning with even if God does exist.
If you have free will, you can make your own meaning.
Even if God does exist, I can make my own meaning because I have free will. So either in my position or your position, you can still make your own meaning. You don't have to follow what meaning of that God is. As a matter of fact, even the Bible says you don't have to do it. There's plenty of people in the Bible who rejected God and even saw Him, still rejected Him. So we still have that freedom whether or not God exists, right? Give me a second. Hey, Neo Conan, I went ahead and invited you twice already. If you want to come up and speak to me, go ahead and come on up. Y'all, I appreciate y'all. We have 5.6K people in here and 25. We have 5.6K likes, 25 people in here. I appreciate you all being here. All right, Gabe, I do gotta go ahead and move on. I appreciate you being up here, though, man. All right, you have a good night. All right, let's talk to Tommy. Is that your name?
Yeah, it's my name.
How's it going, Tommy?
Pretty good.
Are you over 18 and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
I'm actually, yes, I'm 49. And believe it or not, I agree with every single thing that you're talking about. I listen to your show a lot, and I just want to let you know you're doing a great job. It's great to see young people connecting all of these dots and talking about all of these social issues that affect our country. And you're sticking to the facts. You're trying to educate people in a world where facts don't mean anything anymore. And it's good to see you're doing a great job, my man.
Hey, I
I
appreciate
just
you.
want to let you know.
Not a problem. I appreciate that a lot, man. Appreciate you being here.
All right, my man. I'm gonna move on, and thanks for the time.
Not a problem. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right, W. Tommy. Kay, how's it
Hey,
going?
boo.
How's it going, Kay? I know your last one got banned, right?
Yeah, it got banned, so you're gonna have to mod this one.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Not a problem. I figured that because I was like, who is user on this one? I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, that's when I figured out. Okay, that's probably Kay. How did you get banned?
Yeah,
What
like
happened?
I told you, it says KK Reloaded
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, yeah. I was probably I was wondering. But what happened? What got you banned?
I cussed the Negro out for spewing misogynoir,
Oh,
and it
okay.
got me banned.
Yeah. That'll happen.
And it was literally during, and then that whole thing that happened with DDG did not help either. I think that was the final straw.
Didi, like he needs to stay off the internet and come to my services when I.
Because I was in them comments with, I called them the D. I'm like the DD cult followers.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, honey, I was roasting it so bad, and it got me.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Between that and then me cussing out I can't say the N word.
No problem.
No, because TikTok is weird, and I just got mad.
Yeah, I got you. Your mic is muffled a little bit, by the way. But
What about now?
there it is. That's better. But
But yeah, I
yeah.
got
TikTok
banned
is weird.
for cussing out a nigga.
Mhm.
Stupid hoe, how you figure? Type energy.
You know how that goes. You know exactly how that goes. All
I'm
right,
like, they
y'all.
love to police black women on here.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
know how that goes.
of course, the person that was um, spewing like heavy misogynoir, talking about how black women are the detriment. I'm like, in the fall of the black community and get kicked out. No, me responding to that.
Hmm.
I'm like, and calling him. I'm like, and saying that his. I'm like that his. That I'm like that his. In the words of my good sister, his mother had improper use of uterine privilege, and she should have swallowed his ass instead of took her into his body. And and you disgraced her womb, and therefore I disgrace her for birthing you. Now I'm the problem.
And
Okay.
and proper use of of uterus is crazy. Give me a second. All right, I have a question in my Twitch chat. It says, "Do you think if Merkel is considering to establish a position of the German Parliament, what? Who the? Oh my
I'm like,
goodness,
let me know.
I get
Let me
crazy
know when
comments
you
over on
mod it so I
Twitch.
can check it.
Not a problem. I get crazy comments over on Twitch. It's like I have no who's like Merkel. Like it has nothing to do with the United
See, I've
States.
never been on Twitch, but I hear Twitch be crazy.
Yeah. Twitch is kind of insane. All right, Chaz, I did invite you up. If you,
Ironically, Instagram is not as crazy as TikTok,
Mhm.
and I think that's ironic to me. At
Yeah,
least when I'm on Instagram, it's not to say it doesn't get crazy, but it's not as crazy as TikTok.
yeah, it's it gets a little insane. All right, D Sizzle and Chaz, I've invited both of you up. If you guys want to discuss this, go ahead and come on up. And know if people want to get reparations from them, the folks that they were oppressed by, then they should go ahead and get them. That's what I've always said. So D Sizzle, come on up.
My question is, why does everyone want to bring up other folks when we're talking about Black Americans specifically? Like that be the major thing. Like, oh, the Irish. Like, first of all, the Irish weren't slaves. They love to act. That is such. At this point, I'm putting that in the white, and I'm like in the handbook of white supremacist talking points.
Yeah, the
Because
Irish.
first of all, because every time they come up and do that shit, like we will like literally say, like first of all, indentured servitude and slavery were legally classified differently under law because the Irish were not black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So they had different laws that I'm like you could after working for 7 years could buy yourself out of indentured servitude. Slavery was bondage for life.
Forever.
Like we're talking about, and not just for life, but but it affects your entire lineage.
Yeah,
That is not
essentially.
even close to the same conversation.
Yeah, it's essentially is like I've always said that I always point this out in colonial law, indentured servitude and slavery were made two different things, and slavery
And they
was
were
only
on
reserved for black people,
purpose.
and that was made on purpose. Exactly. All right, Linda, you said you could debate. I went ahead and invited you up. D Sizzle, you actually
And
can
it's funny
because
because the only outside of slavery, the only from what I can see from what I've read, the only European group that I can say may have had similar experiences,
Mhm.
right? And but I'm like, but here's the thing: they still assimilated into whiteness, so they were still able to gain those white privileges. Is the Italians, and I'm only saying that because I read of a story somewhere in New Orleans where, and it was like a couple years ago, where there were Italian men that were um,
lynched.
unalive by trees,
Hmm.
um, and like
Strange fruit.
alongside black people
Yep, strange fruit.
during the, but I'm like before they were able to, assimilate into whiteness.
Hmm.
So things like that happen. The difference is that, and this, let me be clear, there are a lot of black people I believe would, if they would assimilate into whiteness, honey, because you have a lot of self-hating black people
Oh yeah,
out
yeah,
here.
tons, tons.
Okay, but black people don't have the ability to do that because of their phenotype.
Yeah,
So
pretty
black
much.
people can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not to say that they wouldn't, because again,
Hmm.
there's a lot, girl. There's a lot of self-hating Negroes out here
Yeah,
that I truly do believe would assimilate into white supremacy if they could.
yeah.
I do believe that.
No, no, I truly believe that there's lots that would have, and I've yeah, we've been on that side of the internet where yeah, they clearly would.
Now, here's the thing: like, there are some people that would bring up like the history of past racial passing,
Hey,
and
Kate.
like in America. But here's the thing: even under those circumstances, they weren't assimilating like to escape to like because they hated their blackness. They were doing so to like to escape oppression. So even that is not the same conversation.
Yeah, exactly. All right, give me a second. All right, y'all. Shout out to everyone who's watching me both on Instagram, on Twitch, and on YouTube. I see y'all watching me on YouTube. Drop a one in the comments. Like I said, there is a link in my description. There's a link pinned in the comments. If you would like to join me, go ahead and click on that link. If you're over on Twitch, I pinned a comment as well. There is a link if you would like to join me there. Over on Facebook, same thing. There is a link if you would like to join me. I appreciate everybody
Oh,
being
so you're
here.
just everywhere.
Yeah. I started to stream everywhere so I could get the most as possible. I started to stream everywhere.
You out here for
Mhm.
real, for real.
Yeah. I'm out here. I'm out here, boy. I might hit a reset here on the TikTok though, because this kind of always happens where it starts off good and then for some reason or another like it slows down. So I might
You know
hit a
what?
quick
I
reset.
could let me go to the settings on my thing because maybe if I take it off of private, like where no one can see that I'm live, maybe some people will come in. Because ironically, I was able to catch a new cute on like some cute followers now.
Okay, cool.
I had a good amount. I have to rebuild this entire account back up, but I'm like I've made some really new cute followers on this account.
All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna hit a quick reset then.
Oh,
All
you
right.
still have to friend this account, by the way, too.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna
Not
follow
not
it back.
not only mod, but you have to like friend request this account.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna follow it back now. I got you. All right. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and hit a quick reset, and I'll be right back. All right.
All right, I'll get the notification. Send me a friend request so I can and yeah, remind me.
Gotcha. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. If you're watching over on my, let me close this out real quick. If you're watching over on my YouTube and Twitch, I need to go ahead and hit a restart on my TikTok. So y'all just give me a second. All right, so I just hit that reset on my, just hit that reset over on my TikTok. So let's see if that works out better. All righty, just hit that reset. All right, y'all, like the live, share it, like the live, share it. Y'all see the topic of discussion. If you disagree with anything I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I am live everywhere. I'm live on Facebook, I am live on Instagram, and I am live on Twitch and YouTube. I appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all coming through. Go ahead and like the live and share it. Go ahead and like the live and share it. Appreciate y'all coming through. Shout out to everyone who's watching on my YouTube right now. Shout out to everyone who's watching on my Twitch right now. Shout out to everybody who's watching on my Instagram right now. And shout out to everybody who's watching on my Facebook right now. Y'all are amazing. Y'all amazing, and we do love y'all. If you disagree with something I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. And as I've said all the time, I do not talk to the comments. That's one thing I do not do. I don't talk to the comments. So if you disagree with something, I am going to invite you up. If you say something disagreeable in the comments, I will invite you up. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Like I said, go ahead and like this up. If you disagree with something I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. Hey, Dong Dong, what's going on? I see you over there on YouTube. I appreciate you being there. Over on Twitch, y'all, y'all strange over there on Twitch, man. Y'all be strange over there on Twitch. I should share this in some conservative Facebook groups I know. I really should. I really should share this over there. All right, y'all. So go ahead and start. Go ahead and like the live up. Go ahead and like the live up. Go ahead and send me some gifts. I do have a gift goal. Cool. All right, y'all. So y'all see the topic of discussion. Issa, what's going on? Thank you for coming back, Issa. Y'all see the topic of discussion. Y'all see it on the board. And I think we have a guest. Oh, it's Kay. All right, cool. All right, y'all. Like I said, like the live,
I still
start
see
sharing it.
yes, but since I'm not a mod yet.
Yeah, give me a second. That's something weird about TikTok Live. I'm using TikTok Live, and that's something weird about it. I can't make you a mod when you're up here, but when you're in the comments, I can make you a mod. It's kind of weird like that. I'm not sure why.
Okay, you want to put me down in the comments real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna put you down real quick.
I'm like, and then when you make me mod, I'll come back up.
Yeah, I will. Give me 1 second. All right, Walk with Timothy. Go ahead and come on up. I went ahead and sent you a request. If you can come up, go ahead and come on up. I've heard that claim before that Fred Hoyle said that, but if I'm not mistaken, he actually did not. Something was taken out of context from what he said. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Fred Hoyle never said that. Fred Hoyle was for the steady state theory. So you guys are actually like kind of lying on him. There it is, K. Give me a second. I'll make you a mod now. Yeah, TikTok Live is kind of special like that. I'm not sure why. All right, and you can manage guests. Confirm that. All right, you should be a mod now. You and Issa are now mods. So y'all could go ahead and control the guests and everything like that. Invite people up and everything like that. All right, y'all. Keep on liking this live and keep on sharing it. I do appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate everybody watching. Hey, Dong, what's good? I appreciate you, Dong, for being over on my YouTube. Stay getting it popping over on my YouTube. Appreciate y'all, man. For real. I appreciate everyone who, yeah, Michael, you could come on up and discuss. Let me invite Michael up real quick.
Now that officially, because I'm a mod, I can invite you.
Yeah, Michael Dennis, go ahead and... All right. Unborn Rights. Let's go ahead and invite Unborn Rights up. Unborn Rights? Actually, we do have some guests real quick. All right, I have Awesome Man coming up. Awesome, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, are you over 18 and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
True and true.
True and true?
Yep.
Oh, you are over 18 and you disagree with something I have on the board. Okay, cool. I got 15 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and discuss with us. TB, you're going to be up next, all right? All right, awesome. Go ahead
I'm
and...
like unborn right victim. I'm sorry, unborn rights. I'm like, try calling someone a victim again and see how fast I kick your ass out of the comments.
Yeah, Unborn Rights. If you actually want to discuss something, go ahead and come on up because we're not going to do this.
Come up in the, matter of fact, I'm going to mute your ass until you come up here and have that smoke for Volsi.
Exactly. Because they always yap in the comments but never actually want to come on up. All right, so
now, I'm like, you're going to be muted for 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to come up here.
Exactly.
Or I'm going to permanently ban you from the live, for the entire live.
Yep. All right, so awesome. Let's go ahead and have a quick discussion.
Tell them I don't play those type of games.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so awesome. Let's go ahead and have that discussion.
Okay, why was America never great?
All right, America was never great because it never lived up to its ideal of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness or equal opportunity for everyone. And it also displayed terrible character when we see its domestic and foreign policies as well. Now, it can be great. There have been shades when when America has actually shown that it can progress and become great, but as of right now, it never has. And I'm not saying it never will be. It can be, but it never has.
All right, so it actually has, and it is right now great.
Okay, when?
And even right now it is great.
Okay, so now it's great?
Yeah.
We have slavery.
And I do believe
How's
it
that
has
great?
been. We do not have slavery. People do not own other people.
What's prison?
I'm like, so do you think because people are not legally allowed to own other people that makes That's the bare minimum.
Wait, say that
It
again.
doesn't make it great.
Okay, can you say that again?
I said that's the bare minimum, though. Just because people are not, well,
How is that the bare minimum?
people, does not necessarily make it great, though.
Oh,
Alright,
you're kind of cutting in and out. I
All
don't
right,
really
but
understand you.
awesome. Let me ask you a question. What does the 13th Amendment say?
Hey, Michael Dennis, what up? See you in the comments.
Talk to me. What does the 13th Amendment say? Oh, you had to actually
Oh,
go
I
look
couldn't.
at it.
I couldn't tell you. No,
Okay.
no, I couldn't tell you.
The 13th Amendment says that slavery is abolished except for punishment of a crime. So people in prison are slaves.
And then how is that bad?
How is slavery bad?
No. How is losing your rights because you do not obey the law bad?
How is losing your rights because you do not obey the law bad? All right. So let me say this.
And is
During
that
the
the
civil rights,
exact?
hold on,
Is that the
hold on.
exact?
I'm answering you. During the civil rights movement, did people obey the law? So saying that if you break the law, you should lose your rights is kind of ridiculous because there are some laws that are unjust and you should break them. Now, not
Is
everyone,
that the exact translation
not
of
everyone,
the 13th Amendment? Is that
not
exactly
every,
what it says?
not everyone, not everyone in not everyone not everyone in prison is one of those people that are breaking unjust laws. But I don't believe that just because you commit a crime, you should have all your rights taken away.
Is it okay if I tap my boy Mikey in?
I don't know who Mikey is.
Michael Dennis. He says you're lying about the 13th Amendment.
I'm not. The 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution abolished slavery and voluntary servitude in the United States, except as punishment for a crime.
You can look it up. That's not a lie. It
It's
really
not a
isn't.
lie. Huh.
No, it's not. It's really in the Constitution. It's not a lie.
Should we bring my
That
boy
is an
Michael
actual
Dennis up here?
fact. It's under the 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution.
Should we bring my boy Michael Dennis up here?
Yeah, sure. If I bring him up, I'm gonna drop you down though.
All right.
All right, give me 1 second.
He's basically saying the founding fathers are liars, and I agree to a certain extent. Granted.
Well,
But
Michael Dennis has to actually request because only TB requested. I don't see Michael Dennis requesting. TB, how's it going?
I don't. And it's so funny.
TB, you there?
Hello, yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was just
That's not under the Constitution. That clearly you've never read it. Like he said, he just requests. I don't see you in the request, Michael.
Yeah, I don't see you in the request, Michael.
All right, how we doing tonight, people?
Request again.
Yeah, Michael, request again.
I see you in the
Because if
request, I'll bring you up. I just don't see you.
give me a second. Let me take a look if it's over on my side. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right. Let me take a look at all the requests. Actually, I do see it now. Over on my phone, I don't see it, but I see it here on the live thing. Give me a second, all right, y'all. I promise I'm bringing.
I see him then. That is so weird.
It's weird. Like on the phone, it doesn't show up, but over on the live side, it does show up. Give me 1 moment, y'all. TikTok is being weird tonight. All right, I'll accept Michael. In Winter Night, I'll bring you up after I speak to TB and after I speak to Michael. All right, y'all. So like I said, these are all one at a time. These are all one at a time. Not hold on. These are all one at a time. Don't everybody jump in at the same time. I don't know why TB left, but fine. All right, Michael. They were begging you to free to.
The 13th Amendment. Can you guys tell me when the 13th Amendment was passed? Because I can. Do you guys know by chance?
13th Amendment was passed in 1865.
December 6th, 1865. Do you know what that amendment directly says written within the Constitution? It abolished the use of indentured servitude and slavery. It never said anything that prison was slavery.
Okay. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to the jurisdiction.
But do you know what
So committing a crime
involuntary
means that
is?
you become a slave.
That's not what
That's
that means.
literally what it says.
Okay, we're gonna mute you real quick, Michael, because this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna lay down ground rules. Do not interrupt me or any of my mods while we're up here. While we talk, you be quiet. I'm gonna unmute you now, but don't do that again, please. All right? So I'm gonna unmute you. We can have a civil conversation. Text
I'm like,
section 1.
actually, Volsi, would you be able to put it up on the screen, on the big screen?
I actually might be able to do that. Let's see if I
How am I
have
supposed to
a
have a
display
conversation
capture.
and you're going to mute me the moment I say something that you disagree with, sir?
No, we're gonna
No,
be able to have a
we set the
conversation.
ground rules.
Yeah,
That's
we're
not
gonna
Exactly what all
we're
you people
going
do
we are
understand
going to
that.
we are going to
You
be able
mute
to
me,
have a
you
conversation.
mute people that
We are
disagree
going
with
to be
you.
able to have a conversation,
Okay,
but we can't keep interrupting each other. All right.
talking about.
I'm okay with having a conversation. I had a 30-minute conversation with a YT woman yesterday. Even she kept interrupting, and I didn't want to
what does her
unmute her.
race do with that?
Like,
What is
hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. I can have a conversation with you, but stop the whole interrupting thing, okay? I already brought up a point. You said
How are you
that
gonna
slavery.
mute
You
the-
said
say?
you said that the text doesn't say prison is a crime, but I'm reading the text right now, and it does says
you said
except
prison is a
as
slave.
punishment
That's
for a
false.
crime.
You referred to
It
prison
is
as a
it is
slave, which
you
is
can have
false.
slavery. So prisoners are slaves.
Michael Dennis, if stop coming off of mute. Just for a second. I'm gonna put you back. I'm like Volsi.
Can I
just
respond,
right
please?
now? Not yet. Hold on, but you're gonna get a you're gonna get a point. You're gonna be able to just
Okay,
give,
Kyrie, I don't
just
think
give
you're
us
very,
a second to get things together.
you're not qualified within this discussion. You're pulling up a script right now.
There is no script. I'm literally reading the Constitution.
We're not pulling up a script. We're setting the ground rules of the live, and you are not. are not following them. Just wait.
Yeah, it's very, very easy. All right. So do you see what I have here? Would you like me to go ahead and scroll in? I can scroll in right now. All right, here it is. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except for punishment for a crime. Do you see it now?
So section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as punishment for a crime whereof partly shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any
place subject to their jurisdiction.
So basically,
right there.
what that says is, slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for committing a crime, like Volsi said, are permissible under law. So that essentially says that slavery is legal. As long as a person has committed a crime. So what Volsi said is absolutely correct. You saw it right on the screen. That is the literal United States Constitution.
Exactly.
That is the 13th Amendment.
The problem that I've always had with a lot of conservatives who jump onto these things is that they feel like they can just rule the conversation. That's not how it works. That's not how I run my life, guys.
Furthermore, that wasn't his live.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his live.
Exactly.
If you make a live and you set the ground rules as engagement for that live, if you break them, don't complain when you get muted. And don't say that we're not going to allow you to have a conversation. Clearly, if you're up here, you're able to have a conversation.
Exactly. All right, Jack, since...
So
Give me a second, Kay. Hey, Jack, since you're crashing out and trying to glaze Michael, go ahead and come on up, all right? Like, if you want to glaze him, just inbox him, bro. Like, just DM him and let him know what you want to do, you feel me? But you're not going to crash out over my comments glazing this dude. All right, Catholic traditionalist, I'm going to bring you up right after I'll talk to Auto Nation. Auto Nation, you there?
Yeah, hey, what's up, man?
I'm all right. Are you over 18, and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
Oh, I'm not here to disagree or debate. I just wanted to say, I love it when people debate. I think it's great that people have different ideas. I do want to say that Wikipedia is...
I'm a mod, TV, so don't try it.
I'm sorry, go ahead, say that again, Auto Nation.
Wikipedia isn't accepted by a lot of professionals. Like, you're not allowed to use it as a source for, like, if you're in college or in most schools. So I think just a reading point of, you can pull up the 13th Amendment or any amendment you want, but maybe not on Wikipedia, because a lot of people will argue that Wiki is not a reliable source because it's open. It actually is open source, and it can be edited by pretty much anybody that has access to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of a helpful point. But
yeah, sure.
I'm not here to debate or anything.
Awesome. Can you read? Because I read the literal Constitution.
Let me just go ahead and bring this up again. Give me a second.
What?
No, not you, Auto Nation. She's talking to the comments. All right, let me just bring this up again.
I'm like, what? No.
Let me just bring this up. Let me just bring this up again. All right, y'all see this where I'm at, right? Constitution
Oh, I see where
annotated
you're at now.
right here. Constitution annotated. And yo, what does this say right here? Neither slavery nor voluntary servitude for punishment of a crime,
No, it's too
except
small,
for
honey.
right, except right here, except for what? What does that say? Awesome. Because awesome, I invited you up again, and you didn't want to come up. It says right here, except as punishment for a crime, right or wrong. It says it right there.
Hey, I have a question about that actually.
Mhm.
Are they referring like you could have a slave as a if they were being punished for a crime?
No, that's saying
Yes,
that the
that's
state
so,
can actually
it literally
enslave
says
you.
that prisoners under
Oh,
the
that's
13th
fucked up.
Amendment are
So,
considered
sorry, excuse my
slaves
language. That's
by
messed up.
to the United States government. That's literally what it says.
Yeah, the United States government can enslave you, basically.
Yeah, I don't
If
agree
you
with that.
commit a crime, let's say, and because here's the thing, and this is where it becomes tricky with that too, because like Volsi said, in the past when you've had, and this is why, and I was going to make that point when you made it, Volsi, too. The United States has a history of making laws that are not just. So if we're in 1965, actually let's go before that, 1945. There would be 20 years prior to the 1965, where all of those things had came to a close. And 1945, Volsi, if you, let's say you were my husband, and we were walking down the street, and we looked at a white person on that side of the street, we would be committing a crime
Exactly.
in 1945.
Black codes.
If we did not move when a white person was walking.
Yeah, that was black codes. That was black codes.
That is literally and so based on that logic, if we don't move out of the way, we deserve to be slaves.
And that's what they used in order to enslave black people again, because a black man couldn't walk on the sidewalk, he couldn't walk on the train tracks, he had to move out of the way of a white person, they couldn't look at a white woman, like all that was in black codes. And it, like TB and Awesome, I invite y'all back up again, all right? Because y'all obviously never learned this in your history classes, which I could forgive you for, because high school history classes don't teach these things. But the moment you get out of high school, you can research this for yourself.
Law of the United States. We're not making this up.
Like, we're literally not making it up. These were laws. All right, let's go ahead and.
Like, even Virginia has in its I don't know if it's still in its constitution, but on the laws of Virginia, it used to have that black people were 3/5 of human, and that used to literally be on the state laws of Virginia. These things are not being made up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hey, Awesome. I'm gonna invite you up again. All right. I don't chat to the comments. I don't want to keep chatting to the comments. I'm gonna invite you up again, and if you just keep yapping in the comments, then we're just gonna mute you for the live, bro. Like, I don't do this. TB and Awesome, if y'all actually want to discuss these things, request. I sent you guys a request again. Please don't keep yapping and crashing out in the
so you
comments.
sent-
Actually come up.
So Volsi sent you a request. If you don't come up, I'm going to mute you.
All right. So we have.
But you're not. Yeah, I'm gonna mute you for 5 minutes. If you don't come up, I'm going to literally ban you for the rest of the live.
Yeah. All right. So we have Catholic traditionalists up. Catholic traditionalists. I think we've spoken before. Sam, I got you next. All right, Sam, stay in the box. I got you next. All right. So Catholic traditionalists, you are over 18, I believe, and you definitely disagree with something I have on the board, because you said in the comments that you can prove God. Go ahead. What you got?
Yes, I don't remember speaking to you before. We may have, but yeah. With regard, well, let's define God first, for the sake of discussion.
I'm glad you
let's
don't
say I
care,
define
but now
God
I'm
as.
muting you too, bitch.
All right. Yeah. Don't. Let's let's not pay attention to the comments for a second, okay? All right. So it probably wasn't you. Probably someone else named Catholic traditionalist. All right. So Catholic, you want to define God? So you're defining it as the one from the Bible, the Christian one?
Yeah, let's say I define God as an intelligent agent, has the power to instantiate, impose all states of affairs, and it is eternal, meaning always was. It never had a beginning, unlike you and I. You don't believe that God exists, right?
Right. I don't
You don't
believe
there's
it.
because you don't see any evidence, as you say in there. There's no good evidence for that God, right?
Correct.
So, not with regards to all things, but only the set of all things that you perceive to exist. How did you determine that all those things that you perceive to exist is not good evidence for the God that I just now defined?
Because the God that you're proposing can be like basically any god. I can say Olodumare, the god of West African voodoo, is that same thing that you just defined, and then I would be right. Like you just can't prove something by a presupposition.
Now, what this God that you just said applies to the God that I just now defined. Um, what are the attributes of that God?
The same ones that you just said.
So that God never had a beginning?
Right. It always existed.
Is it physical?
It's both physical and immaterial at the same time.
Okay. So it has all the attributes of the God that I just now defined.
Correct.
Okay, so let's say that God is the ground of all being. I'll add that with regards to this God, the ultimate ground of all being. Then that would mean that you can't apply any other God to that because there can only be one God who is the ground of all being.
Right. So the ones that the Christian interpret as the God is the false one. The one that's the real one is Olodumare.
Okay, well that's fine, but if you'd have to apply other attributes to Aldemarade, whatever, to get to Alderamade.
No, I don't.
Okay, so then you want to just give the name to the God that I just now defined as Alderamade. That's fine. You could do that. So with regards to there not being any good evidence for the God that I just now defined, how did you determine that all things you perceive to exist is not good evidence for the God I just now defined?
Because again, like it's simply just an assertion. That's not evidence.
How did you determine that?
I determined that by what evidence actually means.
Okay, so what does evidence mean to you?
Evidence means that a piece of fact that is testable, repeatable, and demonstratable.
Okay, and you don't believe all the things that you perceive to exist exhibit that?
No.
Correct?
All the things I perceive
Okay.
to exist are existence, but that doesn't mean that existence means that there's some anthropomorphic, all-powerful, endless God behind it.
Now, do you instantiate and pose existence itself?
What does that mean?
Are you responsible for existence itself?
No.
Is existence itself informational to you so that you can perceive it?
Well, I have to perceive it, so yeah, I guess we could call it informational. Sure.
Okay, so if something is informational, that would invoke the metaphysic of intelligibility, correct?
What does that mean?
Well, in order for you to perceive it, that means the very characteristic of that reality would have to be understandable, right? And at least on a basic level.
Yeah, we exist in this universe, so we have to understand it. Sure.
Right, but in order to understand it, the characteristic of the thing that you're perceiving would have to have that characteristic of understandability. If it didn't, you wouldn't be able to perceive it, correct?
Not necessarily.
Then how can you perceive something that doesn't have the characteristic of being understood?
Like what I'm saying is that like that happened for example in early human history. For example, they didn't understand what lightning was, but they still they still perceived it, right?
No, well, you're talking epistemology. I'm talking ontology. With regards to the very characteristic itself, in order for you to perceive it, it would have to have the ontological characteristic of being understood. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to perceive it.
So you're saying that everything that we perceive in our universe, we can somehow understand it, even if we don't understand it at the moment.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is everything that you're perceiving is nothing more than information. Would you agree with that?
Nothing more than information. Like the colloquial term of information. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's just information. I mean, anything, your physicalness, light, taste.
Yeah, sure. It's all just information. But what I'm saying is that when you say that if it has the characteristic of being understood, otherwise we won't be able to perceive it. What I'm asking is, what do you mean that everything that we perceive in the universe can somehow be understood, even if we don't understand it at that moment?
Yes. Like, for example, if you were to,
Then yeah.
like, for example, let's say you were on drugs or something. or there may be something that's in front of you that you can't understand because your mind is not all there.
Right, but when
But
my
if
mind
you
is
were
more lucid, then I can understand it. Yeah, sure.
right, so so the thing itself that you're perceiving has the characteristic of being understood, whether or not your mind is in the right place, right?
Yeah, it can be understood one day, sure.
Right. So the characteristic of being understood is an ontological characteristic. It's not dependent on your mind.
Okay, so actually, it kind of
So,
is.
well, no, it's not, because you've just admitted that even if you're on drugs or whatever, and you cannot perceive it because you're on drugs, then the thing itself still has that characteristic of being understood, irregardless of yourself.
Right, irregardless of me, someone else can understand it. Sure.
Sure, but even if somebody else could understand it, if that person was to, let's cease to exist or be on drugs themselves, it doesn't negate the characteristic of the information itself, whereby it is capable of being understood.
Yeah, so it can be understood by, like, if humans didn't exist and another sentient creature did exist, that other sentient creature can understand that thing.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Let's say
Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
Let's say all humans were to pop out of existence, and for 1,000 years, then some other alien came along, popped into the universe. Then it would see what you're seeing. Like if you were seeing a sphere on the left-hand side and a cube on the right-hand side.
Right. They will have
The-
probably
the
have
al-
different. They'll probably have
Yeah.
a different linguistic framework, but they would kind of understand what cubes and spheres are. Sure.
Right. Yeah. So if they were to pop into existence 1,000 years later, then and
They can
looked at
perceive
what
the
you were
shapes.
looking at,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, they would see. Right. They wouldn't see a monkey playing drums.
Right. They will
what
see
you
a
were
cube
seeing.
or a sphere. Yeah, sure.
So then that information itself exists ontologically. It's not dependent on you or that alien or anybody else with regards to its very characteristics.
Yeah.
We're just perceiving the characteristics, but we're not the ones instantiating and imposing the
Yeah.
characteristics.
We're not putting the.
themselves.
Yeah, exactly. We're not the one making the cube exist. It exists on its own. I got you.
Right. So therefore, information, that's all it is. Everything we're perceiving is nothing more than information. So that information itself, the very characteristic of it is that it can be understood. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to perceive it.
Right.
So, and you're not the one instantiating and imposing that characteristic. It just exists ontologically. It just is.
It just exists. Yeah, it just is. Yeah. So I could agree with
Right.
that.
Right. So, since understandability invokes the metaphysic of intelligibility itself, would you say intelligibility is a concrete thing or an abstract thing?
I'm not sure.
Well, concrete is like physicalness. It's like abstract is like concepts, ideas. For example, if I were to go ahead and
If we're
well, let me
defining
ask
it
you
that
this.
if we're defining it that way, it's probably going to be both. But I still don't see how this gets us to a God.
Well, how can it be both? Can you go ahead and take Christmas wrapping, wrap up intelligibility, and give it to somebody as a Christmas gift?
Oh, okay. Now I
I've
see
never
what you
seen
mean.
that.
Yeah, it's probably abstract then.
Okay, so abstracts necessitate a mind, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, then is that a yes?
Like, do abstract things necessary? Yeah, abstract things necessitate a mind. Like,
Okay.
like
So then, by your own admission, based on the answers you provided to my questions, you've just admitted that God exists, the God that I've just now defined earlier.
no, I haven't.
And let me connect the dots for you. I'll explain why. Because since you've admitted it's not your mind that's instantiating and imposing the very characteristic of understandability with regards to the information itself, but instead it itself exists ontologically with regards to its intelligibility, and yet you stated that intelligibility necessitates a mind whereby that mind must instantiate and impose the intelligibility itself, then that means that your mind's not doing it, my mind's not doing it, no other mind in the universe is doing it, that alien we spoke of earlier isn't doing it. There's only one mind left, and that's the mind of God.
No,
Because you
there.
admitted a mind is necessary for intelligibility itself to exist.
No, like, just because something exists and it can be understood doesn't make that thing intelligent or has intelligibility.
No, sir. You just admitted that in order for intelligibility itself to exist, it necessitates a mind, and you admitted
Right,
that
but
it's
something-
not our mind, sir.
Right,
Hold
but
on.
something-
You
but something-
admitted,
hold on,
you,
hold on,
sir,
hold on,
hold
let-
on,
I-
hold
I-
on.
yeah,
You
no,
admitted
no.
it's not our minds that's
No,
doing
you
it. So now you're trying to
hold
back-
on. You hold on.
Now you're trying
You
to
hold on.
backpedal. This
You
is
hold
what
on.
atheist-
I'm not backpedaling. You hold on. When we were talking about, when you're saying that things can be understood, yeah, sure. We can perceive those things and we can be understood. That does not mean that those things have
Talking
intelligibility all of a sudden.
epistemology, we were
That does
talking
not mean,
ontology,
that
and you
doesn't mean,
agreed to
that does not
ontology,
mean,
sir.
that does
Now
not
you're
mean,
backpedaling.
that does not mean
This
that
is what
those
the
things,
atheists do,
that does
everybody.
not mean
They
that those things,
backpedal.
all right, this is what I'm talking about.
He
Yeah,
stepped in it.
we
Now he's
spoke last time. We spoke last time. This is the same guy that we spoke to last time. All right, TB, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up one more time. I'm going to go ahead and bring you up one more time.
Oh, and keep it cute, because I don't know why I don't know what TB's obsession with leaves.
Yeah, me neither. All right, Sam, how's it going?
Hello, what's up? Can you hear me?
I'm all right. Are you over 18 and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
I am over 18. I do disagree with America never being great.
All right, sure. Yeah.
Just give me a second. TB, the next time I see my name in the chat, I'm going to play Mariah Carey's Why You're So Obsessed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure I'm going to do it loud.
All right. So TB, since you're back, go ahead and request and I'll bring you up right after Sam. Okay. So, Sam, how's it going? So you are over 18 and you disagree with America never being great. Sure. Why do you think would you like to know why I think America was never great?
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right, America was never great because it never lived up to its ideals of equal opportunity and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone. And it also displayed horrible character and it's both its domestic and foreign policy. That doesn't mean that it can never be great. It can be great one day. We've actually shown like flashes of being great in this country, but so far we've never actually been all the way great, and we're not right now.
Well, I think the perspective where me and you differ is the idea of great. I think that since America's creation, we have made more benefit on the world, not just in the Americas, but also in like Europe and Asia. Like in medical advancements and like protection, like we're most of NATO. We funded Ukraine for most of the war, and we've done so much in foreign relations.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to pose a question to you, right? Let's say there's a doctor. This doctor is a super genius. He was able to, heal a lot of people, do miraculous surgeries, etc., etc. He's an abusive man that beats on his children. Is he a great man?
I wouldn't call that question cherry picking. He's a bad person morally, but he's done great things to help people. Assuming like he did do good things to help people.
Yeah, he performed.
But no one has said that America has never done great things. Even Volsi said that America has shown glimpses of being great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, but overall, this country has never been great. Even he said it doesn't mean it couldn't be.
So what country has been great in throughout history?
Whichever one lived up to its ideal, but that would be irrelevant because we're talking about America.
We're talking about America, and the American ideal is all people are created equal under law. And the ability to pursue happiness and and fairness and equality and all those things under law. And America historically has not kept that promise.
In this day and age, I do think so, but not everyone's created
No,
equally.
I don't.
In this day and age, it still hasn't.
It still hasn't. What makes you think?
What makes you think it has?
World has America ever? Is America equal?
You're free to go and get jobs. You're free to pursue education.
I'm like, okay.
Is getting that job affected by other things?
Yeah, for sure. But I think
exactly.
I think you can't. You're African of nature, right? Or you're African American?
Well, I'm Haitian. Kay is African American.
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about the racism, which is the unfair inequalities in America.
Yes.
I think for a country of our size, it's not fair to classify our country as not being great when only like a few thousand, or not a few thousand, but not the entirety of the country is racist, and only a few bad racist
was
experiences.
built off of racism, and
yeah.
that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
But we've evolved.
Built off
we've evolved.
We have evolved. I'm gonna give you that.
The fact that the orange man is president shows differently to me.
Yeah, we're going backwards rapidly.
Donald Trump doesn't hate African Americans.
So why did he refuse to rent to them?
Refuse to rent to them?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm like, you're talking the man that literally helped contribute to redlining. It does not hate African American. Do you know who Donald Trump is and his family?
Not really known for his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh, no,
they've done terrible things.
Very well known. Do you know that Donald Trump and his father, when they were in real estate, specifically in New York, and this has been admitted, literally refused to sell to African Americans.
That's
yeah,
one.
He was sued for it.
That's one.
And he was sued. A matter of fact, Trump's family has been sued for discrimination in housing and employment towards African Americans, specifically the Trump Towers in New York. That is a lie.
Yeah, and he's even said very racist things like African Americans are just lazy. That's just who they are, and he's admitted that he said that.
Well, yeah, but if they're
yes, he's admitted. I remember during the 2016 election, him calling a black female reporter a mother, talking about. Honey, this is not even just African Americans. He's made ableist comments. I'm literally doing the hand emotion, towards severely,
a severely autistic man.
Severely autistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have. Talking about he would grab women by their private parts. I can't say that word on TikTok, honey, because
yeah, it's a lot. But yeah,
this man is very problematic.
Right, but just to
I don't know what.
Just to circle back around to what we were talking about before, we still have a racial problem in America because your employment and even where you live is affected by your race. It shouldn't be that way. And I think most Americans agree that it shouldn't be that way. But we're doing nothing about fixing that, and a lot of us actually still deny that that's a thing. And the more that we deny that that's actually a thing, the more it doesn't get fixed. As a matter of fact, we have a president right now who's going to make it worse because he cut funding for housing discrimination. To investigate housing discrimination, he cut the funding for that.
How he got rid of DEI.
Mm-hmm.
Which they made a black thing when it's not.
It's not.
But essentially, what that does is they like to say that DEI, quote unquote, makes it where white people it actually prevents people from discriminating and gets minorities, not even just black people, but women, LGBTQ people, disabled people, older people, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm just I want to go ahead and get Sam's your rebuttal or anything you got to say on this.
Well, if you have 10 people named Joe and one kills someone but the rest don't, are all the Joes bad? I think you can't classify.
That's not how.
I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, but you can't classify a whole country based off one person.
We're not basing it off of one person, bro.
We're not classifying it. We're talking about the history of this country, and and those structures that
that still exist.
Affect people of color and black. They still exist. Do you know that a black person with an equal credit score to a white person have harder times getting loans for things like housing, being able to start a business, that black people actually have to go through more barriers because they think that because of the stereotypes that black people are lazy, that black people, they literally put black people through more barriers to get access.
Well, I'd argue.
Credit, all of those different things. You cannot just ignore that.
Yeah, when we look at some of the pillars of this country,
that's not a few people. That's a literal. That's literally systematic.
It's a system. It's a systemic problem. If you have an issue in this country where a black person who has the same credit, income, and criminal history as a white person, but they still get either higher interest rates on their home loans or get rejected from home loans altogether, that's a systemic problem.
Again, I'd argue that's not in all of America. I'd say I'd say
Yeah, I'm
majority.
like, yes, it is. I have lived in multiple states, and I've had that experience.
But what we're
And
talking,
I'm like, that every
what I'm trying to point out, Sam, is that when we do this type of research, it's a national research. They go to major cities and they look across the country to see if this holds true everywhere. And if whether you go to the South, the Northeast, the Midwest, or the West Coast, it holds true everywhere. As a matter of fact, it's
holds
worse
true
in the Midwest.
everywhere.
It's worse in the Midwest, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
So
honey, I had it way worse in the South. South. Now, let me be clear, right? I'm like, and it happens in the North too, right? Like, I'm like, and that's why I can't stand when like people like try to make the East Coast like this.
this bastion of liberalism when it's not.
I'm like, it's really not. Like, I'm like, listen, I'm from Pennsylvania, okay? And if anyone knows about my home state is essentially I'm like a Confederate state with a liberal bow on it, okay? It's really bad. Okay?
Yeah, like upper New.
I'm like my state is essentially the type of racist that said I'm like I voted for Obama twice and I have black friends so therefore I can't be racist. I'm like meanwhile you're on live calling me the N-word behind a spam account.
Yeah,
Like,
upper New York is literally just frozen Alabama. But Sam, do you understand exactly what we're trying to say here?
It
Yeah.
really is, and I cannot stand
I'd,
it.
I'd argue
That's
that
the
I'd argue we're making progress. We're making progress towards that. Like, black unemployment rates were at all-time low during Trump's presidency and have continued to drop throughout Biden's.
They were at an all-time low under Trump's under Obama's presidency as well. So what's the point?
How can there be two all-time lows? Or never
Because
mind,
it keeps
never mind.
going lower.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but Trump has continued to decrease the employment rate.
Yeah, because like there are more jobs that get open, but like what type of jobs are they?
Well, everyone's free to pursue other jobs.
Yeah, everyone's free, sort of. Yeah, I agree with that. People are free to pursue other jobs. What I'm saying is that yes, the unemployment rate does decrease, but presidents don't control unemployment rates. So when people say that under Trump it was an all-time low, it was an all-time low under Obama. It was an all-time low under Biden. It always gets low, or it goes up, or it goes down, but presidents don't control that. So how do we credit them?
That's not the argument. It's that America's continuing to improve.
Yeah, I agree with that. We can improve, but we're not great yet.
Well, I think.
But that's the point. It's not great because if there still needs, if we are not at the point where black people and people of color are being judged unfairly, because like and like for example the bank statement, and another example, Sam, do you know about and I doubt you know about this. Do you know what hair discrimination is?
Hair discrimination?
There's hair discrimination.
See, I knew you wouldn't know what that is. So if I go and this has happened to me. Do you know what the Crown Act is?
The Crown Act?
Do you have any idea what that is?
Yeah.
The Crown Act. So let me explain this to you. So the Crown Act is a thing. And there's been attempts to try to make it federal. It hasn't been, but it is passed in certain states. It literally is to prevent discrimination based on black women and black people, but especially black women and children. The hair that grows out of my scalp, for me not to be discriminated on that. So for me to be able to go to a job, or let's say I have a daughter or a son, and them going to go to school, and they have locks in their hair, or they have braids in their hair, or they have their afros out. For us not to be discriminated based off of that. So literally, as a child, in 2007, I was literally sent home because my afro was being the distraction. When I was in fifth grade, and that's just not me. The fact that we have to create a whole bill, so that we do not get discriminated based on our natural hair texture. That is not great, Sam. That's not.
Yeah, if there has to be entire laws to create to not discriminate against black hairstyles, do you see the problem there?
Not
Uh,
even just hairstyles,
well, it's-
architecture.
yeah, I see the problem, but I still think that all Black Americans are still able to find jobs, pursue education, pursue a better life.
Able to find
I don't think
the
you're
ability
kind of
to
Even
find
understand.
though
jobs.
even though
You're not
racism is apparent,
understanding, Sam.
I still think
Sam, that's not the issue. The ability to find jobs and to be able, and to be able to gain education is not the issue. The fact that we have to go through more barriers.
That's the issue. The issue we're
I don't
talking about
think
is the barriers, not the ability or incapability.
Not the
I
ability
don't,
to do it, because yes, we can. We can get access to these. We have to work 10 times harder to do so, though.
Exactly. The
there's not
barriers
many,
are the issue.
there aren't many barriers in
It's the
education
barriers, not the
now.
ability to gain access.
I was saying, but like just
It's
like
the
how,
barriers.
but like just like how
In
I
fact, it
pointed out
was the
earlier. When I pointed out, remember I pointed out earlier that black applicants for homes, even if they have the same credit and income as their white counterparts, they still either get higher interest rates or get denied altogether. This also goes over to employment. When in employment, even black applicants who are just as qualified, had just as much experience as white applicants, either don't get a call back or they get offered to get paid
and
less.
same education too.
And it happens in education as well.
Where's that statistics coming from? Because
These were studies done by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Excuse me. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I think it was another one was done by Harvard. I have to pull it up.
well, I know many
Can
black.
you pull it? Actually, Volsey, can you pull it up real quick and put it on the big screen?
Hmm.
But still, I'd say one black aspect of America doesn't make it not great. I think we've done more for the world.
I'm like racism, misogyny, misogynoir, bigotry, discrimination. That is an ungreat foundation.
Yeah, but
You
we've
cannot say that America is great when its history and it's currently discriminating against its citizens. That's not great. I don't care what you're talking about.
you still set aside.
It's not great for everyone, so therefore it's not great.
Well, that's then for all countries. No countries is great, because
Correct.
If they have, sure, if they have if they're discriminating against their population, then no, they're not great. That's not. But we are talking about America, and because we're in America, we're not talking about other countries because we're all American here. We can all go and get an American passport. So I'm not talking about Italy. I'm not talking about Greece. I'm not talking about Britain, the UK, Japan, China, because I can get a passport in those countries because, again, I'm not a citizen. I don't have a birth certificate in those countries because I wasn't born there. So what other countries have going on to me is quite irrelevant because I'm not a citizen there. And the conversation is not about other countries. The conversation is America was never great. So it's not talking about other countries.
Well,
We're
America.
talking about the country that we're in.
Well, America is currently great.
No, it's not.
How is it
Yes, it
currently
is.
great? Okay,
Our,
give
medi-
me a
our
second.
medical advancements to the world have helped overall, and we've set aside protected land.
And in medicine,
And
black
this country
women
is
have
the most
highest mortality.
influential country that has ever been.
Jack
Wait,
Ernst,
who's
do you let me
talking? Who's
talk?
talking?
Jack Ernst, Jack Ernst, let me talk.
All right, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second because we wanted to display this. All right, so this is a paper from 2017. Meta-analysis of field experiments shows no change in racial discrimination in hiring over time, meaning that they went all the way back to the 1970s to see if hiring discrimination changed, and even from that time, it has not changed. And we know that the 1970s was not a very good time for black people in America, especially when it comes to hiring, because we just came from the civil rights movement. So it hasn't changed in all that time, in over 40 years.
It's literally the decade right after the civil rights.
Right. So, like, you see, this is a problem, correct?
So Jim Crow being over would just have been fresh.
Yeah.
It would have been brand new.
Would have been brand new. And since then, it hasn't changed. You see the problem?
I'd argue
So
that that has changed.
basically, America, as far as employment and being able to access employment and housing and all of those things, discrimination and those things has not changed. And how it was affecting Black people under Jim Crow. What they're essentially saying that has not changed. Because if they're saying that they're tracing it for the 1970s, that would have been freshly out of Jim Crow. So essentially, what they're saying is America has not discriminations based on housing and loans and employment and all of those things are literally the same today as they were during Jim Crow. That's essentially what it's saying. Is that not what it says, Volsey?
Exactly what it says.
Well, yeah, but I still think, like I've said multiple times, America has the ability to make a life for anyone, even
And
though
also,
there is discrimination. Obama said,
If you're going to discriminate against your citizens,
Obama said it himself. In no other country in the world could he
okay,
have
but
done what he
also,
did.
Hey, pause real quick, Sam.
also,
Hey, Lord, how's it going?
it's going good. How are you?
I'm all right. What you were saying?
Say that as far as the Black unemployment rate goes, is as of February 2025, it was at 6%. In April 2024, it was at 5.6%. Now, Fred, which is the federal economic data, has been tracking Black unemployment since 1972. And even in Trump's first term, the only time that Black unemployment has gone below 6% was from June 2019 to November 2019. Those were the only time. That's the only time that Black unemployment during Trump's first term has gone below 6%. Before that, it was 7, 8.
Right. So
I mean,
what-
so
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lord.
so he hasn't. He hasn't lowered unemployment for Black people. I'm not sure
Where
where
that
you
claim
can get
comes
that from,
from?
but if you go to fred.stlouis
but
fed.org.
also he can't change employment rates for Black people because again, as Volsey just said, the president has no control over that.
Yeah. Well, so that's
So-
disputed her argument. But
So Sam, when it comes to all this, like I get where you're coming from, where America has done all these medical advancements, et cetera, but all those medical advancements are due to the fact that we just have more money than other countries, which is cool and
Right.
all. But just like I was said,
No, it's not.
you can have a,
it still makes us. Well, our education system
It's
also helps
actually
with
not
that.
just that. I'm like Sam. Do you know who? I'm like Volsey. What's her name? The woman who sells or have contributed to medical advancement.
There's many women.
No. There is one in particular.
Mariah
No,
Carey.
no.
Mariah Carey, yeah, cancer.
you're talking about Mary Curie.
No, it's not
Mary
Mariah
Carey.
Carey.
I think he meant Mary Curie.
Yeah, Mary Curie.
Yeah, I'm like her name is Mary Curie, right? And I'm like so a Black woman sells. Or that I'm like, mind you, that was taken without her
Henrietta
consent.
Lacks. Henrietta Lacks. That's her name.
Henrietta Lacks. Yes, sorry, Henrietta Lacks. I'm like, so you're talking about medical, but that could have been done without Mary Adelax's sales. And I'm like, and you can look this up. Her sales are being used right now as we speak for all
Medical research.
Pretty much is the foundation for all medical research and medical advancement.
Yeah, the HeLa cells.
I'm like, and literally, her cells were not only taken without her consent, but also due to racism, her family has not received any compensation.
But that doesn't
So
change.
tell me how that is not correct.
Yeah.
Doesn't
when you
change the
t-
fact
when
that
you talk,
we put out cancer research to the world, which has benefited the world.
right, I understand that, Sam.
I'm like,
We
on,
ho-
on, I'm like, on,
let me
as the
hold on.
exploitation of
Let me
Black women.
let me explain this real quick. Like Sam, we understand that America put out research that helped cancer patients across the world. But how did they do this? They did this by using Henrietta Lacks, her cells, from a Black woman. Not only did they take it without her consent, but her family received no compensation for that. And as a matter of fact, after they started running out of HeLa cells, these researchers and pharmaceutical companies, they went back to those Black families to see if they can get more of those cells. So that family didn't even know that their mother who was long gone for 40 years, her cells were being used for medical research and medical breakthroughs, and they were receiving absolutely zero compensation for this. And these pharmaceutical companies, they knew where these cells come from. They knew the woman who used it. They knew her family was still alive, and they gave them no compensation for it. Billions of dollars were made off of the backs of a black woman, and these companies knew that and did not give them any compensation.
And her descendants are poor.
And they're poor. They're still living in the projects. Please tell me how that's great.
The research that was done has helped millions around the world.
Great.
How has it helped her family?
How has
that research helped Henrietta Lacks's family?
It hurt one person to help millions. It's a horrible thing.
No,
it's
Sam,
horrible.
Sam,
It's horrible.
Sam,
it didn't.
The thing is, it didn't just hurt one person, right? Henrietta Lacks unalived when she was 31 from the cancer she had, right? And even Johns Hopkins literally apologized. They were like, we should have, because they are the ones that had the cells. Johns Hopkins, right? Even you can look right now on their hopkinsmedicine.org. You'll see what they wrote up about these HeLa cells. So how did this benefit her family?
It didn't. And I'm saying it's a disgusting thing that they did that.
Then it's not right. They exploited a black woman, and she died. And her family has received no compensation. And this was also done during Jim Crow. Also, within the same medical system that you're talking about, black women are 3 times more likely to die giving birth to their children than other racial groups because of the racism that exists within medicine. So not only with Marietta Lacks, but also black women are literally being unalived in hospitals.
Yeah, this is something that's still
in this country.
Yeah, discrimination in healthcare is still a huge issue today. So, like, that's what we mean by things can't be great. Like, we understand that, you know, America did all this research and medical research and put it out into the world, but America has also caused a lot of suffering out into the world too. American imperialism, especially in South America, which is why a lot of South Americans come here in the first place, is because like America was over there doing regime changes. It's the same thing over in the United States as well. I mean, I say United States. It's over in the Middle East as well. A lot of the issues in the Middle East tie back to Western powers like the UK, France, and the United States intervening over there. So it's like when we look at all these things, like sure, what you brought up is a great thing that America did. So like I said, it brings out flashes of greatness, but behind that, we see way more damage being done.
Yeah, but
by the way, I'm like, first of all, hold on. So I'm like, Sam, Vosi, why can't I see the comments? Did you turn the comments off?
I did not. I didn't turn the comments off. No,
well,
they should be there.
See the comments? That's weird. I can't see the comments. Never mind.
Yeah. Issa wants to ask Sam a question. I think I'm not sure if I have another space in my box. Give me a second, all right, Issa?
Could you just say it in chat?
Yeah, you can ask it in the chat and he'll answer. But yeah, these like
I'll
I don't
try
want
to answer it to my best ability.
Gotcha. I don't want us to dogpile on Sam. I just want us to for him to like understand why we wouldn't see America as great despite all that.
I was gonna remove Jack.
No, Jack could stay up because he's been crashing out for like 20 minutes in the comments. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk to him.
Okay, so
Sam, I appreciate. Yeah, Sam, I appreciate you being up. We're gonna drop you just for a second, and then you and Issa can talk in the comments if you like, and yeah, I might bring y'all back up. All right. So Jack.
Issa, come up, please.
Yeah, Issa can come up, but Jack, you've been in the comments, going back and forth with Issa for the past hour now. Matter of fact, trying to go back and forth with me for the past hour now. We're gonna try not to jump him, y'all.
I can ask it really quick now, and he can answer it in the chat if you don't mind. It'd just be easier because there's a character. There's only so many characters allowed.
Gotcha.
My first question is, would he require compensation for any sort of intellectual or biological contribution that he personally gave? That's my first question. And 2, he openly admitted that the world has benefited. So to me, that's openly admitting that her biological her biological material was stolen for the entire world to benefit. So to me, that's basically an admission of required compensation to me.
No, I
So those
agree.
are my questions. Because I would assume that if he were to invent something or give something some biological material and the world were to benefit, and pharmaceutical companies were able and hospitals were able to make billions of dollars off of this, I would assume that he would want compensation for that. That's
I
all.
agree. I appreciate you, Asa. Thank you so much.
I feel like the only reason this is even a conversation is because it's a black woman.
No,
That's
I agree.
Real, and I'm gonna be real because black women are always expected to be exploited, and to not have any like compensation for anything. You know, the mammy and the mule and trope.
Correct. Oh yeah, and at the end, her family did sue and they did settle for like it was a historic settlement, and it was like for an undisclosed amount. So they got to each other. We know that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on a little bit. All right, so Jack, we're gonna try not to dogpile you. All right, I know it's a lot up here. All right, so Jack, you've been going back and forth, and you've been crashing out ever since TB and Michael were up here. Go ahead and let me know what you disagree with.
I was coming on here to talk about your last point on socialism and capitalism.
Okay, great. So you
Yeah,
don't you don't disagree with anything else then?
I do with some, but I would just like to talk about that last point.
Sure.
Okay, so I would argue that capitalism promotes economic efficiency, individual freedom, and it incentivizes hard work that makes our country better and makes other countries better.
Here's one thing I would say. Capitalism is good at production, right? Even Marx agreed that capitalism was good at production. Your hardest Marxist will tell you, yeah, capitalism is great at doing production. That doesn't mean that it incentivizes everything else that you said. The only thing that capitalism incentivizes is making profit. That doesn't mean that the way that you make profit is efficient. And the reason why I would say this is that my first job, even up until now, I would have sort of, because I work in insurance, but like my first job, I would tell you, it was in customer service. If you ever worked in customer service, you're the front line of a corporation. Anyone who's ever worked in customer service will tell you, corporations are not efficient at all, but they make billions of dollars. My first customer service job was AT&T, a huge telecommunications company, billions of dollars. They are not efficient at all. I'm on the front line, so I know. You know what I mean? So all capitalism does is require you to make profit. If you can make that profit inefficiently, then you're gonna make the profit. That's all it cares about. It doesn't care about freedom. It doesn't care about individuality. It doesn't care about making things great for people. All it cares is about is produce things to make a profit. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess you kind of answered my thing because I was just saying it's efficient.
It's not.
Or not efficient. What I was saying is it's good for profit.
That's all it's good for, profit.
That's all I was trying to.
I got you, but is profit the only thing that matters?
I guess not. No.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and we've seen this before, like where companies would pursue profit, but people would come secondary to that profit. Yeah, Michael, I'm gonna bring you up in a second. Oh, that makes sense, Jack? Yeah, Michael, I'm gonna bring you up in a second. Give me a moment, please. All right, Jack, you teacupped. So if you swipe out the app, I won't be able to hear you. He might have gotten the call. All right, y'all. Keep liking the live and keep sharing. We got 7.5K likes. I appreciate everybody watching. From people watching me on YouTube to everybody watching me on Instagram as well. And if you watch me on Twitch, I appreciate you there as well. There was someone on my Twitch crashing out, but I don't see them anymore. But I appreciate y'all watching everywhere. Lord, it's been a few minutes.
Why are people always crashing out on your Twitch though? Like, why is it always your Twitch?
Oh man.
Ironically, it's never your YouTube.
It's never the YouTube.
And that is the iconic place for crash outs. It's never your YouTube. Why is that?
I never understand it. All right, Michael, you did request, but I'm not sure that if you left already, there you are. All right, I'm gonna accept you up. Hey, Lords, it's been a minute. You been all right, Lords?
I know it's been a minute. Yes, I just
Hello.
came back from vacation, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing
Hello
good.
there.
You know, Christina's live's been they've been live like a lot, and I've I've been seeing you on there giving the people the business. So I appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, Michael. Yeah, you can join the discussion. All right, so
All right.
I know you disagree with something, but I forgot what it was. What did you disagree with again?
So what I think that what you and Jack were having a good conversation about. You guys were talking about some of the cons of capitalism, which I agree. I mean, every single economic system throughout history has shown to have its pros and cons. But so what socialist or communist pros would have more of a benefit than capitalistic pros?
The socialist pros would be more care for the society and the people, uplifting their needs, basically.
So, but if you uplift their needs to for everybody's having the most average like kind of set of things, because wouldn't it therefore desensitize people to live more of a luxurious lifestyle?
Will it decentivize people from living more of a luxurious lifestyle?
Exactly. Yes, I
Yeah,
think that.
like peace. Yeah, sure. Some people may not want to, not even want to, but don't need to live a luxurious lifestyle. Sure.
But is socialism and communism practical to apply to an entire society?
Communism may not be practical because communism is a stateless money society. I'm not sure how you run a society without money, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. We had it before.
Okay, so then if you were going to compare like large scale socialism versus large scale capitalism, what do you consider to be the large scale sorry about that, the large scale drawbacks of capitalism compared to socialism?
The large drawbacks of capitalism is what we're seeing right now.
Like what?
Slavery, a trend towards fascism, hierarchical systems, corporate greed, government corporatism in our government. That seems to always happen. Going back towards neo feudalism, slavery. All that happens under capitalism.
Can you explain like what the aspects of slavery that are in everyday society today?
Huh?
What aspects of slavery do you see in society? Because
Yeah, our
I
prison
think that
system.
with
Yeah, like
slavery-
our like
prison
for example, our entire prison industry. Our entire prison industry is built on basically protecting private property in order to put more people in jail in order for private actors to make to make money off of prison labor. Essentially, they can pay prisoners 1 cent an hour and sell their products for hundreds of dollars on the market.
But you're right, because they have their room and board taken care of. They get their meals a day, and I understand while it might not be the best quality. If you do a crime, do you really believe that you should be a contributing member to society?
If you do a crime, should you? Yeah, you should still contribute to society, but you don't have to be a
And
slave.
they are contributing to society through their work. No,
Huh?
they are still contributing to society through their work. They don't have the
Are
right.
they?
Absolutely, 100%. They don't deserve any of the profits they make. If you make a crime, if you do a crime bad enough to end up in prison where you don't have basic rights, then you probably shouldn't be contributing to society and deal with the profits from
That's the
society.
problem. You should have basic rights, and under socialism, you would
Why
because
should-
you're still a human.
But why should you have basic rights if you've done?
Because
if
you
didn't
are
do
still
the same
human.
thing?
Because you
So you
are
think
still
that somebody
human.
you think that somebody that does a violent crime and takes the life of another
When you say basic rights, what do you mean by that? When you say basic
I think
rights?
that the best basic rights, as John Locke said himself, life, liberty, and property. I'd say that those are probably 3 things that every human does have the right to have.
No, that's not true. They've been redlining black people for decades. That's not true. That's not afforded.
Under that, if
That's
basic
not
rights, then
afforded
black
to
people
everybody.
Yeah,
What do you
it's
mean?
not.
That's not afforded.
How so? In
Just
what
what I
way?
said.
In
Do
what
you know
way?
what Do you know what redlining is?
Wasn't that with the neighborhoods where they kind of kept poor people among themselves, and then you can see the crime rates that were
No, no,
skyrocketing.
no, no, no.
No, no.
No,
That's not what that
no, that's not what that was.
Mm.
Under redlining, a government agency literally says
Redlining
this
is
is
a
where black
discriminatory
this is
action
where
for
black this is
persons
where
who
black
are
people
entitled
live.
to live
This is where black
conditions.
people live, and we're not gonna
Yeah.
invest into those areas. They put a
That's
red
what I
line
just
around
said.
that
They
map.
have red.
I'm like, that's
No.
what created hoods.
So it's not.
Like,
It wasn't about.
Actually,
Hold on. Everybody pause. Everybody pause. So Michael, it wasn't about crime. It was about race.
yeah.
Yes,
I
but
mean,
as you
because
see,
redlining, what redlining
and
is
hell, we could
actually
even bring ethnicity. I was gonna say we could even bring ethnicity into it too, because
Yeah.
we're even
how
talking
does
about
my
reparations and
Red,
stuff
ethnic
like that.
background?
Michael, let me
Ethnicity
let me
aside.
let me tell you what redlining actually is. Redlining is actually the practice of denying people access to credit.
Exactly. And I don't know if you
Listen, wait a minute. Let me
Listen, Michael.
finish. Let
Listen,
me
Michael.
finish. We've been doing okay, Michael. Let me finish. It is the practice of denying people access to credit because of where they live, even if they are personally qualified for loans. It has nothing to do with whether the person is a criminal or not, because they don't know that. They deny them
So
access to credit because of where they live, even if they are personally qualified for loans. We just caught Navy Federal Credit Union doing that. Was it last year or year before last?
I think
Right?
it was last year.
Last year, and
Yes.
just to further add what Lord said, the people
And
that
I'm
they
like,
were
and
targeting
Wells
for,
Fargo has a long history of doing that.
yes,
Actually.
and so just to add to what they were saying, under redlining, the people that they were targeting for these loan for to deny them credit were always black people, always. Because why?
And
Because under Jim Crow, black people live together. So these are the areas where we're not going to deny loans. It's not based on race, but we know it was, and they admitted to it as
and
well.
these people were and these people were in the military also. They were not and not low ranking people. These Some of these people had been in the military, of course, Navy Federal Credit Union. Their entire lives were spent in the
am I
military. Same credit profile, same everything. They got denied for loans.
may I give my rebuttal, please?
Sure.
If that's all right.
Hold on, before
So
you do,
yes, okay.
I'm like, before you do, because it's important to bring up the context of Jim Crow when we're talking about this,
Jim
right?
Crow, yes.
And I don't want that nuance to be lost, and I'm glad people brought it up, because under Jim Crow laws, black people and white people had to live separately. In fact, that was the point of Jim Crow. Okay, so I'm like, if even if
Um,
they don't say verbatim, like, hey, we're doing this to black people, I'm like, right? I'm like, if we're under the Jim Crow laws of the 1940s, and they're denying like loans, and I'm like an economic advancement, and the ability to participate in economic advancement, specifically within black neighborhoods, predominantly black neighbor. I can't even say predominantly. It would be black neighborhoods because we're talking about Jim Crow. That is
so
redlining specifically to black people. So
all right.
that can't be denied.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You can't deny that there wasn't a racial factor involved within that. I completely agree with you. But my original statement about what I said, where you could literally look at the math from the 1950s and 1940s, these neighborhoods were outlined within red line saying that they're not going to receive funding. However, a private company has the right to give a loan to whoever they want, and if they don't see this as a future investment,
Actually,
and they
not when
don't have
they're
the
getting
reason why.
not when they're getting federal funds, they do not. And banks receive federal funds. See, you guys don't have your information correct. When you receive federal funds, right, you cannot discriminate against people. Banks receive federal funds, schools receive federal funds. You're
And schools
not
are discriminating
able
against people.
you're not able to discriminate against people. Now, if you are a truly private company that does not accept federal funds, you can, but banks are backed. They are backed by the FDIC. As a matter of fact, Obama bailed out the banks, and you guys were complaining when he did that because he left y'all high and
Who's you
dry.
guys? What's that supposed to mean?
U.S. citizens were complaining when he did that because he left U.S. citizens high and dry and bailed out the banks to the tune of billions of dollars after they had wound up all these bad mortgages in these tranches, right? That's what happened. That's why the 2020 2008 mortgage thing happened because they wound up all these bad mortgages into these tranches. And when the people stopped paying their mortgages, these tranches that they had sold to these investment companies, they went bankrupt. That's why we don't have
I'm
Lehman
like,
Brothers
I'm
anymore.
blocking you because
Right.
why are you harassing me?
Yeah, I
Um
went ahead
th-
and blocked that person. All right, so we kind of went off track. I forgot where we were at before. Um, yeah, so we were
Let
talking
me
about
go make
prisoners.
my page private.
Yeah, we were talking
Let
about
me.
prisoners
Okay.
before. So
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
that prisoners no longer deserve rights if they committed a crime?
I think that it should classify based on the crime. I think that if you are a violent criminal and you took the life of another human being, you don't deserve those rights because you took somebody else's rights off the face of the earth.
That's more of a of an emotional cry. Why don't they deserve rights even if they're still a human, right?
They killed somebody. You think that somebody that kills somebody should still be a contributing member of society?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, and let me tell you why. Because what if they don't get life? What if they only get like 5 years?
Then what happens?
Well, so I'm assuming that if they only get 5 years, it'd probably be, I'd assume, a first-degree manslaughter charge. So there's probably some.
No, I know, but they still come out. There are people like that former Leo that unalived Botham Jean in Dallas. She only got 10 years. She'll be out in a little while. Do you think that she should lose all of her rights?
Personally, I don't know why would we let somebody that killed 2 people back into society. I think that she should absolutely be stripped of her rights.
Well, that's not how it works. That's not how it goes.
Yeah, I didn't really hear you. So you believe that anyone who unalives someone else should go to jail and never receive the rights ever again?
Absolutely.
Okay, what if it was an accident?
What if it was an accident?
I was going to actually ask the question, what about if it's in self-defense? Now, I could understand the perspective if we're talking about cold-blooded, like, serial killers.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, then. Yeah, if they're a cold-blooded, like, just take someone else's life, I could understand that you wouldn't want them to be contributing to society anymore. You know, lock them away in some sort of facility forever away from society. I could even get that. But most people in prison are not that.
Regardless, if you do a crime that hurts society, you shouldn't continue to have those rights.
But most people in prison are not that. And like I said, I can't even remember her name, but she's a former Leo. She's going to get out in a couple of years, right? Because she only got 10 years. She's going to get out, right? Do you think that she should not have her rights anymore?
Why do you think that somebody that took the life of 2 other people should have rights?
Listen, I am only going by reality. The reality is she was only sentenced to 10 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And she, at the end of those 10 years or 8 years or however many years she serves, she is going to be out.
And that's a problem.
Right?
That's a problem.
Right?
So the person who took out Botham Jean, you think that former law enforcement officers should be in jail for life and not have rights anymore?
I think that a law enforcement officer is an absolutely different story.
That's who she's talking about.
That's who I'm talking about. And you've never heard of this Botham Jean? You don't know what happened? She went into his apartment and unalived him. He wasn't doing anything. He was just at home. She claims she was on the wrong floor.
Mm-hmm. She said she was on the wrong floor, walked into the wrong apartment, and then shot him on accident. If you believe
and
her
he
story.
died. Yeah.
So, actually, I couldn't hear the name, but now that I actually understand, so it was an off-duty police officer in Dallas, Texas. Am I right? I want to make sure we have the right story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the officer used probable cause, and then an officer is allowed. Any civilian can use probable cause in the scenario. That there was a
No, she didn't use probable cause, and that's why she's in jail. They didn't agree with that.
Well, she was charged with manslaughter, not homicide. So there's obviously they agreed on something.
Well, yeah, because I don't think she was charged not with homicide because it wasn't. She didn't do it on purpose. She didn't go to his apartment to purposely unalive him. That's why she wasn't charged with homicide. She didn't go there to purposely unalive him. But she still got convicted.
Premeditated.
Yes, it wasn't premeditated. She still got convicted, right? And she's going to come out in 10 years. However many years she's been in.
Can we just pause real quick because we keep going onto a tangent. Michael, the entire point is that prisoners, most prisoners are, or all prisoners right now are slaves. And I don't believe that just because you had some drugs on you, you deserve to be enslaved.
They're not slaves, though.
They are slaves. It's in the Constitution that committing a crime is slavery.
According to the 13th
Well,
Amendment,
I'm wrong. Actually, not committing a crime is slavery. I was the punishment for committing a crime can be slavery.
You mean going to prison?
Say that again.
You mean going to prison?
Yeah, if you go to prison, you can be enslaved. And what we've seen so far is that they are enslaved.
So you think that people in prison should just get to have fun all the time?
Prison isn't fun. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it shouldn't be fun. Exactly. They don't have the right to have fun. But you think that they should?
Yes, I think that's why they have basketball courts. Even the modern prisons right now have basketball courts because even they believe that they should have the right to go out and have fun sometimes.
So
I'm not even sure what you're talking about. What
You brought-
I'm
you
a
brought up-
I'm
you
a
brought up- you brought up
I'm
the
a
drugs.
person
You brought-
I'm a person that believes in prison reform, meaning that we should rehabilitate them because the majority of criminals the majority of people in prison are in prison for poverty crimes, not crimes because they're just depraved people.
Poverty crimes.
Yeah, poverty crimes, robbery, drugs, burglary,
So-
assault.
so-
Those are poverty crimes.
So, but you think that somebody that goes and assaults or robs a store should have got to go have fun in prison?
What do you mean go have fun? I think they should go get rehabilitated. I say go have
You
fun.
just brought up- you just brought up basketball courts as an example.
Yeah, they have basketball courts in there because they have a right to go ahead and go out there and play basketball. Why shouldn't they?
Why should they have a right to do anything that's not
Michael,
Because
let me
if
ask
you
a
don't-
question.
Hold on, let me just finish one.
Okay,
real quick,
I'm sorry, Volta. Go ahead.
All good, Michael. If you the thing is, this is basic human psychology. If you lock people up in a box and let them do nothing, they will go insane, and that's worse for the system. Because
how it should
these people will get out one day, and when they do get out, they're not gonna know how to be in society anymore because you kept them in a box. This is basic human psychology, bro. You have to let them out.
And that's
I-
what I was about
so-
to say. So would you like somebody to be in a box with no stimulation for 10 years and then that person comes out and moves into your neighborhood? Would you like that?
So that's actually a pretty decent point, and I find that hard to kind of refute your claim. I kind of agree with what you said there. But what I was arguing with Mr. Volsky about is the fact that prison is not slavery.
It is.
It actually is. Can I read the 13th Amendment to you?
13th Amendment passed December 6th, 1865.
Okay,
We
it
know
says,
that.
neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. So slavery and indentured servitude is legal when you have been convicted of a crime.
The amendment. So, I mean, I also think that you have to consider the time period in which that was written. I mean, that was 1865, where if you were caught, you could be sentenced to hard labor, something that's not in place in 2025.
No, that is in place in 2025. The 13th Amendment is still part of the Constitution. We never updated that part. We never
you sure
updated
that-
that. We never updated that part of the Constitution that says that except for punishment of a crime. We never updated that. None of the other amendments say that part of the 13th Amendment no longer exists.
The 13th Amendment does not say anything about being sentenced to hard labor as
What
punishment.
What do you think for punishment of a crime and duly convicted means? It means you go to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What your definition of the 13th Amendment is flat out wrong.
We literally just read it to you. What are you talking about?
You pull it up on the screen behind you. Put it on the
No,
background.
I'm reading it
Fucking
from
Christ.
I'm reading it from
Don't take, hey,
constitution.congress.gov.
Volsky, please don't take the Lord's name in vain.
What?
Huh?
I can't hear you.
You
What are
just
you
swore.
talking
You just swore on Jesus. Please don't do that again.
Fuck God. What are
No.
you talking about?
First of all, he said
Whoa,
my
whoa,
name.
whoa, whoa,
he
whoa,
didn't
whoa,
he
whoa.
didn't he said Lorts, Lorts. He said
Okay.
Lorts.
I mean, 13th Amendment, Section 1 of the 13th Amendment. Neither
Okay,
slavery
section-
nor
section one.
involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any place subject to their
Yeah, I
jurisdiction.
read that. That's what I read.
But
Yeah,
then-
so
but
that's
then you guys
exactly what we're
brought up the
saying.
prison system. You guys brought up the prison system.
That is the prison system. What do you think punishment for? What do you think the party shall be duly convicted? What do you think that
Duly
means?
convicted. Duly convicted.
Yeah, duly convicted.
I mean, I'll read you the little definition right now.
Except as punishment of a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted.
Convicted.
I mean, I know it's like
When you get convicted, usually you go to prison, right?
I know it's like 18th century wording, but it's really easy to understand.
Like I'm not
Okay.
sure what's not clicking here. Like you get convicted of a
So-
crime,
so
you can
but-
become
but-
enslaved according to the Constitution.
You can become enslaved according to the Constitution.
Yeah, it's right
In
there.
the year 1865. That's not how it is now.
It is how it is now.
You ever been convicted of a
Tell,
crime?
tell me. Oh, everybody pause. Everybody pause. Michael, Tell me which other amendment in the Constitution repeals the 13th and clarifies that. Tell me which one.
Well, I think that you can compare a lot of amendments to.
I'm going to ask you one more time. Which amendment actually clarifies the 13th? Which amendment does that?
Amendments are up to the due countries.
I'm just asking you, do you know which amendment clarifies the 13th?
Do I know which amendment clarifies the 13th?
None of them do.
I don't believe that there is one.
So that means that the 13th, that one that we read, is still in place.
Okay, but so I agree with that example, but what about the 14th, 15th, and 16th amendments? Did
What
Jim
about
Crow
'em?
laws have the right to go against them?
Huh?
Did Jim Crow laws have the right to go against the 14th, 15th, and 16th amendment?
Did Jim Crow laws go against the 14th, 15th, and 16th Amendment?
It did go against them. Right.
It did go against them. Yeah, it went against them.
Yes.
That's why they were
So
considered
the power-
unconstitutional.
the
It went against
power
them.
The power is within the states. Prison is absolutely not slavery, and you're reading out of 1865 terminology.
Oh,
Someone has
prison? No, prison is actually slavery.
It's not slavery.
How is it not?
How is it
How is
not?
it not?
Yeah, how is it not?
Being made a slave is you're being forced to work.
And
It's
what do they
different
do
when
in
you're a
prison?
criminal. You did something to be forced to work. Those are two different things.
No,
Oh,
they're
but you're
not.
still forced to work. Are you like what is
What's the difference? Just be
what's
like
the difference?
you're saying that the difference is in the mechanism when you're being forced to work. That's all you're saying. It's just the
so
mechanism.
Slavery is technically illegal. First of all, like I can't go out and enslave.
Yeah,
someone.
even though
So-
there are probably about 1 million modern slaves in the U.S. and around 49 million around the world.
But they're legal criminals.
No, I'm not even talking about just the people in jail. There are about 49 million slaves around the world.
But they're
1 million
criminals.
of those being in the
criminals.
U.S. No, they're not all.
We're not talking about the criminals.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the criminals.
No, they're not. You said
If you're
slavery
in
is
prison, if you're
illegal.
in prison, you're legally defined as a criminal. Are you arguing that the
No,
law
but
is
no,
false?
you said slavery was illegal, and I'm trying to tell you, right,
Slavery
that
is
there
illegal.
are about 49 million slaves in the world, about 1 million of those being in the U.S.
Okay. Your point.
Well, you said slavery was illegal, and I'm just trying to tell you that there's still slaves out here in the
You
world.
mean indentured? You mean indentured servants?
No, I mean slave.
I mean slaves.
Indentured.
No, we mean slaves.
Look. I
All
feel
right,
it's kind of-
Spencer, you requested a long time. Spencer and Awesome, y'all keep I'm echoing. All right, yeah. Someone, give me a second. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me one second. Ooh, that was me. My bad. That was me. Sorry about that. All right, so Spencer, Sam, not Sam, but Spencer and Sam and all y'all. I've already invited y'all up. All right, so here's because I'm trying for us to get to a conclusion because we've been all over the map. Essentially, when it comes to the prison system, I wanted to completely reform for rehabilitation, and I want to do something about poverty because poverty is what causes most of these crimes, and most people are in jail for poverty crimes. I don't see the reason to enslave someone if they rob somebody. We can rehabilitate them out of that. We can make them better people. We don't need to enslave them. I don't see the point of that system. What would be the point of that system to you, Michael?
Sorry, I didn't realize that you muted my mic. What would be the point of somebody that does a crime that hurts society should be taken out of society? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm gonna say it
Yes,
one more
that's
time.
exactly
Hold
what
on.
you just
I'm
said.
gonna say it one more time, and I need you to actually listen. What would be the point? What I want to do with the prison system is to one, we alleviate poverty. Let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
I want to alleviate poverty. Yeah, he's gone. All right. So, Sam, you can come back up. Awesome person, whatever your name was, you can come back up. Because y'all were out here denying that redlining was a racial thing, and I'm not sure why. All right, we went all over the map with that Michael guy, which is why I don't understand why they were glazing him so much in the comments from the come up. All he did was go all over the map. Like that wasn't a fruitful discussion at all. He didn't even know who Botham Jean was. Insanity. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wait till anyone else to come up, and then we're gonna go ahead and probably end the live and move on. But Kay, Lords, how y'all been doing?
I've been okay.
Been
I have
okay?
been okay. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Were you there when that dude made that live about Christina?
No, I see. I saw it when you posted it,
Mm-hmm.
but and they told me, but I wasn't. I didn't go. I didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's always crazy to me that like I make atheist lives, right? And then there's K Dot who makes it. There's Justin that makes it. Joyful makes them. But you see that these Christian men never come after us. It's always the women they go after.
Yeah, but I told one of them that today. Mezzo was a mod on Christina's live, so he was up on the panel,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking crazy. I'm like, you know what? Y'all don't go on Mezzo's or Joel's or Justin's live and talk crazy like that. Y'all don't. Y'all are able to have a conversation with them. Y'all come on this live and talk just crazy. When y'all on Mezzo's live, y'all are so cool, calm, and collected. When y'all
Mm-hmm.
are on Joe's live or Justin's live, y'all are cool, calm, and collected.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come on here, you just go crazy. I don't know what it is.
They crash the hell out. Whenever it's an atheist woman, they crash the hell out. That's why I made that video and put obsessed on it, because I know what it is. They don't have access. They don't have access to Christina. They don't have access to you. They don't have access to Tay. They don't have access to y'all. You know what I mean? They don't have access to Truly Cosmic Skeptic. They don't have access. You know what I mean? So that drives them crazy. That drives them nuts. They be like, why won't these women just listen to me and I can change them?
No,
That's what
that's
it's
it.
about.
Like, and that's what I ask them. Do you think you're up here to convince us to be Christians? Because that's not that's not why you're here. Like, because a lot of Christians will be like, y'all just drop. They're not listening to you. And I ask them, you think you're up here to convince us to be Christian?
Yeah, exactly. We do this because we love to talk about it because it has an effect on our community. You know what I mean? That's why we do it. We want to spread critical thinking.
Exactly. It has an effect on our community. And I tell people, you can deconstruct from the harmful ideas around Christianity. You can still believe that there is a creator, that there is it, but you can deconstruct from these harmful ideas without deconstructing from the fact that there is a creator, right? Because we have people in the deconstruction space that still believe that they believe there is a creator, but this Christian God that is bigoted and he's a supremacist and this is what you need to deconstruct from.
Yeah, exactly. I've said the same thing. There's I've even seen movements of decolonizing Christianity as a whole. I forgot what his name was, but I follow him and he's a great creator. He does that as well. Like I remember that viral post on Facebook that says God is not preparing you for anything. You're just suffering. He even explained how that's actually a good Christian message. You know what I mean? So you can deconstruct from the harmful ideas as a whole with still believing in the uber galactic Superman.
That exactly that, and it's a supremacist idea. These people are chosen, you are not,
Yeah,
and so you
exactly.
have to work for your salvation from a man that didn't choose you in the first place. That's funny to me.
Exactly. All right, Sam, welcome back. You said that you feel something is disrespectful to Christians. What is?
Well, I think the way you talk about them is actually very disrespectful. I think we get a bad representation because throughout history, religion hasn't led to peace, but Jesus has. Like, if you look at the Crusades, I think it's clear that. One second, I'm out of breath. A lot of death happened there, and throughout history, the Christian the Christian mindset has been used to, I don't know the word, but to hurt people to justify
It
their
still
actions.
is, Sam.
What'd you say?
Not it. We're not. We're not. It still is though.
Yeah, it still is, but I don't believe that's true Christianity. I think that's deviating off the path of what God and Jesus want.
Got you. Here's a.
I actually believe it is though.
Yeah.
And
Here's what I would say.
Because here's.
I'm sorry. Let me just point something out. Here's what I would say, right? Because sure, you can say what these people who are causing harm is not true Christianity, right? Let's say we take your word on that. Wouldn't that mean that the people out there, flying planes into buildings, that's not true Islam?
Well, I'm not. I don't know much about the Islamic views, so I don't know. But I think inherently,
But I'm like, but here's the point I was gonna make. Volsi, it's a cop out.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is a cop
It's a
out.
cop.
I think
No, it's
people
a cop out. I'm like, I believe it's a cop out because
Christianity.
because I'm like, no, when we're saying the things that people have done in the name of the Christian God, to say that's not true Christianity is a cop out. It's a cop out.
I don't.
because because here is where it comes down to it would come down to interpretation, and that's why there's so many Christian
Yeah,
denominations.
well, that's
Because Christians don't even agree on what true Christianity is. So that's number one. It's a cop out. Baptists don't believe Catholics are real Christians or are Lutherans and et cetera, et cetera. So so to me, it's a cop out. It's an absolute cop. The only thing that I've ever heard, and when I was a Christian, that all Christians agreed on, for the most part, is that to not open up the door for Jehovah's Witnesses. Now that was agreed upon.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that one. But like the thing is, Sam, like if we understand what from what I understand what being a Christian is simply is simply accepting the Lord Jesus Christ as a Lord and personal Savior, right? That's all I understand being a Christian is. If that's the case, if that's the case, then all these people who are doing horrible things in the name of Christianity are also Christians, because we're even seeing right now where there are Christian influencers saying that empathy is anti-Christian and not a good thing. We're actually seeing that right now, which I think will probably go against the Christian message, but according to them, it does.
I'm like, and you know what's funny? I do believe that Christians lack empathy. In large, I believe they do. When it comes, because let's be clear, right? I'm like, and I'm not even going to ignore, and I refuse to ignore, all of these laws that are being passed or attempted to be passed against LGBTQ people or women absolutely have no influence on Christian. They absolutely do. When we're talking about like the rights for women to be able to have autonomy over their reproductive system, or our laws where they're trying to pass go against same-sex marriage in Idaho. Are the things going on with the passport situation and all of these different things that is absolutely being influenced by Christian, and that is why I'm so adamant when we're having these conversations, right? When we're talking about the harm that Christianity is causing, and to go to your point originally, America not being great, Christianity is literally causing harm as we speak. No one can tell me that the reason they don't believe. They're not against abortion because our Christian pastor told them so. It's literally being influenced by religion.
Well, yeah, but there's
And a lot of misogyny in this country is influenced by religion. I don't even think we can have a conversation about the hatred of women if we don't talk about Christianity.
But there's a difference.
Okay, what is that difference you say there is?
Because there's a difference between saying you're a Christian, believing you're a Christian, and actually accepting the way of God. For example, it's like people can call themselves Christian and justify their bigotry in the horrible things they do. At the end of the day, their values aren't aligning with the values of our God, Christ.
But why wouldn't it be?
Again, like I named earlier,
Why wouldn't it be?
comes to interpretation. Because again, that's why there's many Christian denominations, because they do not agree.
Yeah, and that is led to
so you saying that is a cop out.
Here's what I would say. Why wouldn't it be? Because
what is a true Christian?
yeah, because why I would say why wouldn't it be? Because there are many parts in the Bible that actually do espouse like bigoted views.
Well,
they absolutely do. First of all, I'm like, first of all, you don't even have to go far. We can go to the creation story and see misogyny all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Many
The
of
whole
them.
idea that I'm like that the world is cursed because a woman
Because
ate
of a
an
woman.
apple.
Yeah, exactly.
It's clear hatred of women.
But why would you like it? You said, well, for example, I've heard this before, right? The whole true path of God thing, and I'm sympathetic, right? Because I grew up Christian, so I get it. But the thing that I would say is that there are parts in the Bible which do espouse, bigoted and even genocidal views, or even like verses in there. Why aren't those parts the true path of God, but
I'm like,
the
actually,
nice flowery
to that
parts are
point,
the true
Volsi,
path now?
on that point, Volsi, Sam, I want to ask you a question.
One,
So if a young girl, and trigger warning to everyone in the space SA, okay? If a young girl, is great, okay?
yeah.
If a young girl happens to be raped, and and she tells her father, how much should the rapist have to pay in order to marry his daughter?
I'm sorry. What was the question? I don't understand the.
I said, if you have a daughter and she is sexually assaulted, and how much does the rapist? I'm sorry, TikTok language. Put an F1 in the chat, y'all. How much does the rapist have to pay you in order to marry your daughter?
I'm assuming you're referencing something from the Bible. Am I correct?
Oh, I
Yes.
absolutely am.
Well, because
Oh, I sure am.
a lot of events from the Bible are taken out of context. A lot of events
No.
aren't.
Answer the question though.
Answer the question that.
No, because I'm not taking out of context. I am telling you what it says verbatim.
They should be punished.
How much does the rapist have to
They
pay
should be
in order to
punished.
marry your daughter?
They shouldn't have to pay. They should be punished. I agree.
They
with
should be
that.
punished, right?
But the Bible disagrees, though. In fact, according to Deuteronomy, or either Deuteronomy or Leviticus, what it says is that that your daughter is your property. Basically, what's alluded to is your daughter is your property, and because your daughter has been essayed, that she is now damaged goods, and in the same way that you would have to buy a carton of milk, if you damaged it because it is a good. Okay, so that is what the Bible is referencing to your daughter, and and therefore, you have to, and so therefore, the rapist has to pay you in order to marry your daughter, and she has no say in the matter. That is literally how the Bible thinks of women.
That's not how the Bible thinks of women. That's
No.
It's wait, let me talk.
Book.
Let me talk. That's not how Jesus Christ and God talk about the Bible. That's
I don't care. I don't care. It's in your Bible. It's in Leviticus and Deuteronomy.
It is called in the Bible.
No, but Sam, you do not get the New Testament unless you have the Old, right?
Yeah.
Jesus
Testament.
said.
And second of all,
Jesus said.
and I hate.
Wait a
when
minute.
they do
Can I
that.
please just say this, and then I'm gonna drop because I'm losing my mind. Jesus said that multiple times in the New Testament, right?
Yep.
That you are to follow his father's laws. As a matter of fact, he upbraids the Pharisees multiple times and tells people, right, do what the Pharisees teach and not what they do, because they make null the word of my father. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments that are in the New Testament. Jesus says, I have not come to destroy my father's laws. I have come to fulfill it. And anyone anyone that doesn't follow, I will call the least of these in heaven. Right? So you do not get Jesus without the Old Testament. So you cannot ignore that Jesus is actually God's son. Some people believe that he is God in the flesh, right? And if that is the case,
well,
right?
Okay.
If that's the case,
Sam, let me
you have to you really have to you wait a minute. If that's the case, you cannot ignore the Levitical laws. You cannot ignore Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. You can't ignore them.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's what
but
I'm saying.
science. The fact of the matter is, he knows that, and I'm gonna
What's
explain
up,
to you
Big Bro?
how he knows that. Sam, do you think
What?
homosexuality is a sin?
Well, the Bible says it is. I don't understand it personally, but
There you
See,
go.
see.
There you go. So you know that the New Testament still counts. Like we can't
Look,
just
can I say one
say.
real quick?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think I'm quite knowledgeable enough to talk about this topic. I think there's people who are more knowledgeable who would
Okay.
explain it a lot better. But
No,
I'm
that's
doing
fair.
my best to explain it.
That's fair. I don't want to dogpile on you. That's fair. If you think there are more people who are more knowledgeable and can kind of discuss this better, that's not a problem. I get it. There are people who are newer Christians or haven't been part of the apologetic sphere. I was a Christian like that before, so I'm not gonna dogpile on you. I
And
got you. That's fair.
and I was raised in it, so I could tell you. But see, he proved my point though. Because the moment but notice when I came to homosexuality, he didn't say we need context though. Why is it that you need context now? But you didn't before when I was talking about the verses in Deuteronomy.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
Slash
Like,
Leviticus.
so Sam, what I would suggest is definitely think about it and talk about it with people more. Not just your Christian community, but talk to people outside of the Christian community. Get both perspectives and then come up with a conclusion on your own. Because I can tell that just like how you said, more people are more knowledgeable on you on this. That's not a problem. You know what I mean? That's not a problem. Go ahead and talk to them. That's fine. Talk to the people who are knowledgeable on this. Talk to both sides. Like read the scholarship, all that good stuff, and then come up to a conclusion on your own. But like always, be curious and read this stuff. Remember how Kay just pointed out. You didn't need context for the verse on homosexuality, but you do need context for the verses that she brought up on grape. You see what I'm saying? That's how it's usually taught. That's not your fault because it's taught that way. Yeah, it's taught that way to you.
I'm like, and see, and that's my point about Christianity, right there, is that they first of all they love to cherry pick. First of all, second, I'm like the bigotry is all over there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like because if I were to also go and to ask, I would go and ask Sam if he, if he works on the Sabbath, should he?
I'm
be
here to back up
stoned? I'm
Sam.
sure he would disagree.
No, Sam said he wanted someone else to that's more knowledgeable to talk about it, which is fine. I appreciate you being up here, Sam. I don't want to. Sam seems like a nice guy. He seems like a kind guy, so I don't want to attack him.
But that's the point I was getting to. Is that but he's not the only one. Most Christians that I come across have not read their Bible fully.
My bad, Sam. Sam had one more thing to say. My bad, Sam. Go ahead.
Well, I like to say part of sin is, with the understanding of it, is it's less of a law and more of a like a warning. So for like an example, if you're like a little kid and you're biking but there's a sharp turn, and your parents say, "Hey, don't go down that road," and you don't listen, and then one day you take the turn, and then a car comes out of nowhere because you couldn't see it, and you die. A part of sin is the law telling you not to do that, and it's saving you from harm. Like for example,
You see, the thing is, what I come up when the curious thing that I want to know, and Zach, you can answer this if you like as well. But the curious thing I want to know is that when it comes to like, because I've heard that interpretation before, the problem is that a lot of the sins that it warns about are not harmful. Like homosexuality, that's not harmful at all. Like lusting after a woman, that's not harmful at all. Like it's only harmful when you actually do an action to go after it. But if I'm walking in the street and I see a woman with like big bazungas and I mean like a chocolate lady bouncing that ass, like yeah, I'm gonna look. You feel me? I'm like, damn, you feel me? But like, how was that harmful? Now, sure, I'm like,
oh my god,
it's the Caribbean in me. It's the Caribbean in me. I'm sorry,
Well,
but
one, I think it starts with your intentions.
actually, give me a second, Zach. Because are you over 18, Zach?
Yes.
All right, cool. I just kind of go one at a time. Sam, did you want to stay up or you want to go ahead and let Sam?
Well, yeah,
Zach go?
I'd say it leads to bad things. For example, if there's no lust, I probably guarantee the amount of cheating would go down in the world. Lust causes people to cheat. It causes relationships to break up.
I don't know. I think the person. I I don't think lust causes people to.
It
I think
encourages. It doesn't cause it, but it encourages it.
Encourages it.
I don't think so. I'm like,
I
no
would
one
think
can
so.
encourage you to cheat. If you want to cheat, if
You're
you're a
gonna
cheater,
do it.
you cheat.
Yeah, if you're a cheater, you cheat. Yeah, I don't think it encourages it. I think lust is just part of the human condition. I just want to remind Sam and Zach that if you guys swipe out the app, I'm not gonna be able to hear you.
Yeah.
That one I do see you in the box. I'm gonna bring you up in a little bit once I'm done. All right. So Zach, you did say you're over 18. Did you disagree with anything on the board?
On what?
Did you disagree with anything on the board?
Let me check real quick. I'd say I disagree with the third one.
Disagree with the third one, reparations for African Americans?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Why do you disagree with that?
Because I feel like the time.
Y'all keep getting calls, bro. Tell y'all pastors to call y'all later. They keep getting calls.
I'm like, Volsey, you are such a troll. Oh my god. You did not just say, and I was called the troll of Christians on Clubhouse. Okay.
Oh, bad. All right, Zach. Let me know when you get back.
Like, no shade. But no shade. The Christians used to get really mad at me on Clubhouse.
Yeah. I know. They used to get really, really upset. Yeah, me. Ooh.
I'm like,
he fell out.
remember that room I did? I said the Last Supper was an orgy between the 12 wise men and Jesus. Wait, were you there for that?
No, I missed that one, but I heard about it because they made another room about it, and it was hilarious. It was like, oh, this disrespectful, this Dan the third came up here, and like, oh my God, I know that was King. I know that was King. Oh, Rapson is in the house. Hey, what's up, Rapson? Rapson is someone I actually grew up
I
with.
did not know they made a room about that though.
Yeah, they made a spin-off room. Hilarious. What's going on, Rapson? Rapson is actually someone that I grew up with. That one you're not connecting. That one is you're not connecting. Hey, how's it going, Rapson? I'm up here, man. I'm chilling. As you can see, a lot has changed in the last time that we talked. You know what I mean? Rapson is actually someone that I grew up with at my church. I think he went to my church for like maybe
it's
7
funny.
years.
I'm like, I'm like, is he Haitian too?
He Haitian too. Yeah.
Because I'm assuming because you're Haitian, you went to a Haitian church growing up.
Yeah, I went to Haitian church growing up.
It's funny because a couple in my church we had like a very few we had like a couple like Caribbeans and like a couple Africans, but it was mainly like an African American church. But I'm like, it's funny because the last time we were on here, we were talking about our church stories. I'm like, no, but and literally the similarities are so funny. Why are we so extra?
I've said this so many times. I'm like, bro, we are an extra people, bro. We are such an extra people because across the diaspora,
unserious, even when we
unserious.
Even when we are like, you will have in a Black American church, you will have like a black church mother just falling out, knowing damn well she ain't gonna be able to get up.
No, dog. Always falling out, doing the most at funerals. Like if I showed you videos of Haitian funerals, you'd be like, they are doing the most.
Listen. I'm like Jennifer Lewis in any funeral movie is literally how Black American women are at church.
Why are we like this, bro? Like the entire diaspora is just so extra. No, not.
Jesus, why did you take him?
Don't take him, please. Whoa. So extra, man.
Like,
so extra.
I'm like, I wanted to be a smart ass one time. Go up in churches, and he was go up into my homegirl's church and just run up to the man and say, "I don't, Sophia, I'm good," and just watch the whole church just go silent.
Oh, bad, hilarious, man, hilarious. Oh yeah, that one you weren't connected for some reason. I'm not sure what happened. What's going on with that one? It's been a little minute. How you been?
It's been good. This crash of grinder thing that Isa said, that definitely was where I wanted to come in on this because I think there's a lot of claims to monogamy and good behavior on the right, but I'm not sure that's backed by evidence.
It's not at all. The conservative men are some of the biggest cheaters I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
There's
I
some.
mean,
Oh, they
Grinder.
sure are.
Mhm. What you said that one?
Listen, the amount of conservative men I have met personally, like, cause I be out here dating,
Mhm.
right? Cause I'm a single woman, and I'm like not knowing at the time, but later found out these were conservative men. The amount of men, first of all, there's a thing with the girlies, especially here on TikTok. Like, there's no one more single than a conservative than a married man. But I want to make it further. There's no one more single than a conservative married man.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well, let
they
me
are
tell you.
some of the biggest cheaters, and and like,
Well, and I think
I'm
there's
like,
a.
and
Sorry.
it's so funny to me.
I think there's also a big difference between the like Jekyll and Hyde alcoholic attitude towards these kinds of moralities versus the like more level-headed, right? Like I'm not
And
saying
and I could even agree to a certain extent that I think that like cheating on your partner, for example, I don't think that's moral at all. However, these men don't believe that though. Clearly, they don't.
Yeah.
In fact, what
They
I've
don't
heard
care.
many conservative, in fact, the opposite. I've heard many conservative men say that say why it's okay for a man to cheat but not a woman.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. It's okay for men to cheat. Like the thing is, it's all based on the old school, patriarchal mindset where the men, like, society is male censored. So if society is male censored, then we can basically do whatever the hell we want. You know what I mean? Now I've actually, like, it's usually in the military where I've met.
Oh, I'm like, and many men. And let me tell you something. I have never. No one crashes out more than a cheating man when his girl cheats back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They crash out.
They
So
crash out hard.
They crash out so hard. Listen.
Oh,
They
I just realized
listen,
something.
I said it
Rapson.
all the time. Men cannot take what they dish. They really cannot.
I just noticed something. Rapson was on my Instagram feed. That's why he came over to TikTok, probably because he wanted to come up. Rapson is probably gone though, but yeah, I appreciate Rapson being
He
here.
could have came up. I tried to actually invite him, but for some reason I couldn't see him. Like when I went to go look at the viewer. Oh, I think he's still here. Yeah, let me invite him.
He might still be here. I might bring him up. Because I
see
grew up
him
with
in
him.
the viewers.
Yeah,
I did it at the beginning.
Yeah, there's Rapson. There he is. There he is. Yo, Rap, what's going on, bro?
Not much. How you doing, boss?
I'm all right. It's been a while, huh?
It's been a while. It's been
a while. Yeah, as you can see, lots have changed. Trust me, I've heard it all. Everybody has come up to me, asked me what happened, from Diana to Jethro to Katia. All of them have asked me what happened. So, like, if you want to ask me too, I'll explain it to you too.
Nah, I don't need explanation. I mean, people have a path, and either they. I mean, things will happen. I'm not in a position to judge or to question. I just know that, it will be what it was supposed to be.
Gotcha.
But I was going to chime in on the part of the men versus women and cheating. The reason why it's more accepted with society when it comes to men cheating, because men are more physical when it comes to what they do in cheating with the woman.
I have to tell you, man, like this biology.
Hold on,
this
that one. Give him a
biology
second.
lesson is terrible.
This biology lesson is terrible. But look, go ahead. Let him finish.
Well, I'm gonna get there. Just let him get it out so I can go there.
Yeah. Let's let him get there. Go ahead, Rapson.
And the difference between men and women cheating is that men are more physical. They look their cheating has everything to do with the physical, what they can get, how they can get it out. Versus in most cases with women, not saying all, but in most cases with women, it's a more emotional thing, where there's an emotional attachment where versus a man where it's not really emotional attachment in most cases. I'm not saying this is for all cases for everyone, but in the majority of the cases, and I can speak on from my personal experience that my ex-wife cheated emotionally before she cheated physically.
Gotcha. Okay, well,
I cheated.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Solely physically.
Okay,
But
I got you.
here's the thing,
Here's one
don't
thing I
think-
said.
I'm like, but I just want to say this. Outside of this not being rooted in any type of biology or like science, I don't even want to get to that point. I just want to say I don't think it matters. Cheating is cheating.
Yeah, I would say
It
that.
it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. I
I'm
would
like,
say that
I'm like,
it doesn't
'cause
matter.
I really don't care either way because again, again, cheating is I'm like is a character flaw. It's an immoral behavior to me.
I agree with that.
Regardless,
Yeah, I agree with.
it should not be acceptable for either gender, but for some reason it's so acceptable. And here's the thing: even if, let's say, I truly did, and I don't, let's just because it's not rooted in any type of science, okay? But outside the point, let's go on based off his logic and say women did cheat emotionally before they cheated physically, and it was rooted in like all these type of things. Then you know that you cheating is going to cause her is going to cause her extreme emotional pain, which makes it even worse.
I was
It's still
also
bad either way.
right, and I just wanted to add this. 'Cause I know that one when it gets on this as well. Here's what I would say. I agree with Kay. Right, they're both bad. Regardless, but I would also point out two things. Number one, men are emotional too. Yeah, I mean, like, because again, when we get cheated on, it's happened to me as well, where I've got cheated on. It hurts. You know, what I mean, it's very, very, very painful. I've never cheated, but I get I get where you're coming from because yeah, you know, when you're in a relationship, you're looking at IG models and stuff like that. You're like dang, you feel what I'm saying? But I pull myself back because I know that if I were to do anything like that, how it would hurt my fiance and my spouse, even if it was just a physical thing. You feel me? But the third thing that I would say is that I don't think these are things that are.
You have a fiance.
Yeah, yeah. But the third thing that I would say is that these things are not something that's hardwired into us. I think we're socialized to be like this, and it's actually harmful that we're socialized to be like this because again, that diminishes the emotions of men, and we are still emotional creatures because again, we're human. Men are human. We have emotions. The fact that we're raised to see cheating as purely physical forces us to like diminish our emotional intelligence, and I don't think that should be the case. We shouldn't be taught that cheating for men is physical because that takes away the emotional aspect that makes us fully human. I hope that makes
But
sense.
also, to outside of that point, I believe it. I believe it's a scapegoat for men. I truly do believe so because you know that the actions that you're going to cause is going to cause pain to the woman that you're in a relationship with and your children, if you have any.
Exactly.
You know what you're doing is wrong.
Right.
You know what you're doing is going to cause major pain, and that is why I just don't give it any. I don't give the argument any validity because one is not valid. Women are. It's first of all, the idea that men are less emotional than women is a complete lie. Because if you have ever seen a man and how he reacts when a woman denies his advances, you would know for sure.
I don't think you understand my point though. My point is not saying that men lack emotion. I'm saying that for the actual act of cheating does not require emotions for most men in most cases. Keep in mind I'm using my words wisely. I'm not saying all men. I said most men. Like a man can like he mentioned, you can see something that like for example,
Robert, I don't think you're getting the point. I don't care.
And keep in mind, I'm not vilifying anything. I'm just giving you reason.
I got you.
Robert,
But
it doesn't make anything that I'm saying.
I got you. Hold on. Yeah, pause.
Yeah.
Rapson, do you see where I'm coming from though? Where I think that we're socialized to be that way is not something that's hardwired in us.
Not even just that. To even go further than what you said, let's keep in mind. If you want to go back to, reference like biblical reference. Look, majority of these folks, especially kings, King David had multiple wives. So even just the idea of monogamy. Hold on, wait. I'm not done.
Yeah, let him go. We'll let you go. We'll let you go. Go ahead.
The idea of monogamy is something that people created.
Oh yeah, of course. So I mean, I think that backs up what I was kind of saying because, like how you said like monogamy is like something that people created, and back in the day we were more polygamous and polyamorous. Even in Africa, like there were women who were polyamorous. They had multiple husbands, right? So this is something that I think in our society is more socialized for men to be, you know, just physical, or majority of us to be just physical when cheating. I think it's a thing that we're taught to be, and not something that's hardwired in us. If that makes sense. I think that one wanted to say something though, real quick.
Oh
Give
yeah,
me one
like
second.
I'm totally an op on this.
I'm like, I am too.
But monogamy does not exist.
You don't think
So-
monogamy exists at all?
Fuck no.
Of course
Like,
it does.
Over the 300,000 years of human development, how many of those couplings were monogamous?
Not a lot.
I am.
Okay.
I am
I'm just
a very
saying, like
monogamous
10%
woman.
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm a very monogamous.
No, I know. I know. I get
Streets
what you're
have
saying.
been
from.
there forever. Yeah, monogamy has never existed. Even when it claims to be important to society, it loses in the numbers. Like,
And you're saying this is for both the male and the female side, right?
oh yeah, absolutely. Human beings are like essentially unapologetically slutty, and their discomfort.
Oh my god!
And their discomfort with it, as a whole, I'm saying, like as a whole, like not all of us, but like. It's not all.
Listen, as someone who is very faithful in relationships, I will not, and I'm very monogamous, honey.
Yeah,
okay?
humanity
I do
is not
play
on the
those type
side of that.
No, I get where you're coming from now.
K, you have to understand. Your
I'll be
idea
the weirdo.
is great.
I don't
It's beautiful but it's not what's golden.
No, I get what y'all saying, right? Like myself, I'm monogamous. I don't want to cheat in my relationship. Kay is monogamous. She doesn't want anyone else. But like you guys are saying, like humanity as a whole, as a society, we made monogamy. But if that was never made up, all of us would just be out here smashing. Like, is that what y'all saying?
Not necessarily.
We still do,
I
and
don't
we still do,
participate in such
and we still do.
So,
Like, there are really bad consequences, right, for being not in a stable relationship when you do the vertical, horizontal, whatever.
Horizontal polka.
Yeah.
I'm like the salsa. The
salsa, but
The
there
horizontal
are
salsa.
There are 8 billion of us. That does not happen through chastity and commitment.
No, I feel y'all agree with that. But would you say?
I'm sorry, Volsa, we are such unserious people.
Yeah, we're very unserious. We're very serious. But that one, would you say that like because here's what I would say, right? I actually do agree that polygamy and polyamory should be more accepted, but we should not be reckless with it. Because what we see a lot of dudes doing now, especially like the Moorish Science Temple and people like that. I'm pretty sure Kay has ran into Hope Test before. Rapson, I'm pretty sure you ran into Hope Test before.
I'm like,
Yeah.
trauma.
I know. The Grand Rising Queen people. Like Rapson, you know about those. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Yeah, those.
I'm like, if I hear Grand Rising Queen one more time,
Yeah, those people, right? Like
it makes
the way.
listen, nothing
makes
makes
me
my booty hole itch more than hearing Grand Rising.
Yeah,
I
but
gotta
like.
say,
But I'm gonna get
I'm
you,
with
Issa.
that
Give me
one,
one
sorry.
second. I'm gonna get you, Issa. Give me 1 second. But you see how they do polygamy, right? It's harmful because it's only for men, and it's very, very male centered and patriarchal. So I get that could be harmful, but are you saying that? Because I agree that polygamy and polyamory should be more accepted, and we should be more careful in organizing it, because like of course diseases exist. So I don't agree with all of us just out here doing whatever, but we should be more acceptable to people who have multi-relationship, like relationships like how the singer Neo has.
I actually have a girlfriend who's polyamorous, honey, and I'm like, and I love her.
How close a girlfriend? Is her boyfriend your boyfriend as well? Or
No.
Well, I'm just asking.
My
Like a
homegirl.
girlfriend
Not my
with a boyfriend with a boyfriend's
I'm not a
girlfriend or whatever.
All right. Hold on, y'all. Issa wanted to say
But I
something.
mean it seriously because I don't think there's a moral advantage to
To
monogamy.
monogamy. I
I
got you.
I
think
have to
that
agree. I have. I
it's,
tend
it's
to
a tendency to
agree.
be
I
less
got you.
honest.
Hold on, everybody,
than
pause. Everybody
polyamory.
pause. Everybody pause real quick. All right, so
Sorry.
I am gonna get out of here in about 30 more minutes, but I want Issa to go ahead. Issa, go ahead. What you was gonna say?
I tend to agree with that one because yes, I realize that monogamy is a like a societal norm, and it has kind of been a standard for quite some time. But within that norm, there's always he's right in numbers. There's always been a lot of polygamy, regardless of that, even if it was even if not all, both sides were aware. But like myself, I always told myself that, especially because I'm a woman, I always felt like I should be in a monogamous relationship. But I realized that does not suit me at all. That's not something that is I'm happy in. I realized that every single time that was something that I tried, I was forcing myself to be in that space, and that doesn't sit well with me. So like even my partner, who's been my partner for many, many years, he knows, like, we do our thing, we stay, we communicate within that, but I don't do monogamy. I just won't do that. And as long as we're both on the same page and we can both accept that, but I just think that it's just never come natural to me.
Yeah,
I've never
there's so,
cheated. I've never ever cheated.
there's so much
Before you
ownership.
go,
Oh.
but before you go, the one I want to say this: I believe there's a distinction between polyamory and cheating.
Right. Yeah,
That
I
is
agree.
not the same thing.
100%.
100%.
Because if we're talking about that you're in a monogamous relationship and you are agreeing to be in a monogamous relationship, you seeing other people, I'm like in any sense of the word, right? In a romantic or sexual, I'm sorry, put F1 in the chat, y'all. Sexual fashion, that is absolutely cheap. And even in polyamorous, I can tell you my homegirl who's polyamorous, and their relationship, they have boundaries, right? And if they cross those boundaries, that is cheating. And I'm like, and it's funny because even my homegirl, it's funny how my homegirl's man is in a polyamorous relationship and he still has managed to cheat even in that. But that's a whole other.
You in a poly
No, you're
relationship,
right. I feel
bro?
what
How
you're
you
saying.
have? Oh my God,
Yeah.
craziness.
No, I feel what you're saying. I don't even know why I guess I use the word polyamory because I didn't know what other word to use without being too vulgar.
No,
But
that's the correct
yeah.
one.
Yeah, but yeah, it's never it's not a thing that sits well with me, and it always made me feel weird, and I'm so glad that it's becoming like a little bit more like accepting in this time period because like like before I'm 45, so when I in the time that I've been an adult, that's something that hasn't always been more like very acceptable, but now it's becoming more acceptable. So it's like I still get called names like, but I'll go ahead and profess that I can be a hoe, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like that's not something that bothers me.
You know what's funny? I've always said that like if I really wanted to, like if it wasn't for morals, if it wasn't for my morals, I could become an amazing preacher. Rapson knows because I preached before. Yeah, I mean he knows. So like if I wanted to, I could become like an amazing preacher. And my
it's
girl
funny,
always
and
says,
it's funny because the way I was set up as a Christian, I probably would have made the best first lady.
exactly. And like my lady always
I
says,
was so deep in Christianity that that it's not even.
Exactly.
Child, I do not miss those days.
my lady always says
Those
like
brainworms.
my lady always says that my ability to speak and charm and the fact that I'm kind of a handsome guy. Yeah, I mean I could create my own cult if I wanted to, but I'm too moral. I can't do that. You know what I mean? I can't become nature boy. I
I'm
can't.
like, well, considering how many in these black churches, how many of the men are sleeping with some of their female congregation members. So you wouldn't be alone. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, Maurice Olivier was yeah, remember rap? Yeah, it was kind of yeah, yeah. That happened a lot. Hey guys, I am gonna go ahead and get out of here for a little bit, but I do appreciate you all being up. It's about 11 o'clock. I gotta go ahead and rub my wife's feet and go ahead and get out of here. Oh, and the good news is I got another good news. It is a boy. All right, so that's what I'm having. I'm having a junior.
Oh my
coming.
God, you're having a baby?
It's a boy. It's a big boy.
I didn't know you were gonna be a daddy.
Congrats, my bro. Wow.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's,
well,
that is
buckle
amazing.
up.
Appreciate
I'm
y'all.
like, so that's what you've been doing when you
Is that your
getting off
first?
live.
Is that your first?
It's the first. Mhm.
Oh, buckle up.
Yay!
Yeah, I
By
know.
the way, I'm like,
Yo.
y'all see, I didn't. So
That's
that's
all I
what you.
gotta
Hey,
say.
check this out.
That's why you be rushing to your wife when you get.
Yeah, that's
Now
what I'm
you're
rushing
gonna
to.
Nah, he rushed his wife because he love her. But look, check
Now
this
you're
out.
gonna be sewed up for both.
I
of
was
you.
being smart. I was Robson. I was being a smart ass.
Go rub that woman's
I'm being
feet.
smarter
Go
ass.
rub her feet.
She
So,
deserves it. You
so
better.
check this
And
out,
you,
man.
I'm like, and you better give her the best foot rub.
Yeah, I will.
Hey,
I will definitely.
passionately.
Hmm?
So I just want to leave you this one
Rapsid-
very, very
Rapsid
important thing,
behaves.
bro. Do not for a second blink.
Mhm.
You see me and my son, man. That kid's 7 years old right now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, he's 7 now.
Do not blink and be thankful for every single part of that journey, man. Even from the changing diapers to the crying, being up at night. Trust me, when that kid is independent, you're gonna miss those days.
Oh
That's
man.
fact.
Yeah,
My
that's
daughter's
true.
going to be 26, and I swear I just brought her home.
I'm trying to
Oh
tell you.
my God, me! I'm like Issa. You're old enough to be my mother. I'm 27.
Hey, yeah, but now
Black
I'm
don't crack.
Hi,
That's what it
mommy
is.
Issa.
I'm still young enough to run
Hey.
around and do what I want to do. Like,
Black don't crack, y'all. That's what it is.
Period.
Yeah, and as long as you don't do crack.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm like,
Never
I
that.
mean, if I'm like, listen, let me tell you something. The first time I saw a black crackhead, I was in Dallas, honey, and it was a horrible sight. Oh my
I
God.
live in Brooklyn. They're
Oh.
like really dependable people, actually.
No, I'm like, no. It's not the same thing. No, because if you give one, give one $10, honey, they will do some stuff for you, honey.
Yeah, I can run some errands.
That's not me saying that. I'm talking about the look, honey.
Oh yeah,
Them
no,
hardcore crack. Listen. They be looking hit, honey. They
Chris
be
Rock
looking
did
like
that
a
real
struggle
well in New Jack
itself.
City. Like he played that role good.
He played that real well, yeah. All right, but yeah, I'm
Ooh,
going to go ahead and get
child.
out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all
That
so
black
much.
be cracking
Good
real bad.
Yeah, have a good night, all right?
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Love you all. Have a good night.
You too.
Congratulations,
See y'all.
Lucy.
See y'all tomorrow, y'all.